by the sad, lonely, bitter.
I'm sorry, man. She do y'all see Candace Owens or nah?
I see it. I see
Man,
it.
I swear she in that she, she in that Candace Owens aura when Candace Owens was talking about, and we just need to pray for Steven Crowder. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the way that I feel is like if she didn't care about this shit, it would have just been business as usual. She'd have just went on to the next thing. Like she wouldn't even done this little shit, but she cares.
Yeah.
And I mean, like my thing is that honestly, for real, if it was me, I wouldn't care.
I wouldn't either.
I've already said it. It is what it is. I'm about to stand 10 toes down in it. I don't care. I'm not even addressing it. I don't care about how you feel about my thoughts and what I said, and I don't care about how you feel. But see, like right here, she kind of contradicting herself because, like, again, like I wouldn't even address it.
Right. She's giving SBE a reason.
Right. The SBE might have been slightly effective. It might have been slightly effective.
Yep.
Okay, so the architect says, I think she's being honest about how she deals with negative comments. We do not care. Now, here's my question. If we do not care, how come she's not on to the next topic? Why is she even addressing this? The only reason that I could think that she could possibly address this is because she knows that the topic is hot right now and she could run up even more revenue and run. She says she's a professional disruptor. So I think maybe she might be giving commentary to attempt to keep the content buzzing. That's the only thing that I could think of. But I don't, if she's actually, you know, as hardcore as she says she is, I don't see why she even addressed it.
Yeah, I think a lot of them say they're hardcore and then they, do another thing.
Matter of fact, if I was her, I would came out with a video where I would have went to a bus and been like, excuse me, and walked onto the bus. Then while the bus was still stopped, walked off the bus to the next parking spot where I had my Benz parked and then drove off.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but see, like she ain't gangster like that though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she ain't trolling like that. Like I think she kind of does care a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
She cares a little bit.
Yeah.
Existence until my untimely death. Now, that is some weird energy to be wishing onto a Black woman, especially one who has dedicated her life to the liberation of Black folk. But, you know, whatever, I guess, go off.
Now I could see what the architect is saying. The architect says she needs it for the next move, and I had said that's the only reason why I could see her doing something like this. Check out my earlier comment about the personality type. Okay, let me check this out real quick. Hold on real quick. And real quick, y'all, if y'all haven't smashed the like button wherever y'all watching from, make sure y'all smash the like button. If y'all haven't smashed the like button, make sure that y'all share the video. And if you're not subscribed, make sure y'all subscribe. All right. Architect says, I'm an alpha ENTJ personality type, and I agree with your assessment. We put ourselves first and we move in self-love and play chess, not checkers. Anything less would be detrimental to my mental health. Yeah, probably because there would be some issues with like probability of outcome and control. And I get that. That's one of the reasons why, you know, people make those calculated moves. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got anything y'all want to say?
Not at the moment, man.
Okay. All right.
It's getting good though.
See, I wanted to talk about how do we close the gap between Black women who do show up in a so-called masculine posture, those of us that are providing and building and protecting due to circumstances that we might feel make us feel that if we don't do it for ourselves, we will have to go without the resources and protections we need to feel safe in this world. But Dr. Ayanla went in a different direction. She asked me,
who said that? Shatera said, it's hilarious to hear men saying they need to boycott Byron Allen to get at this chick. If they not boycotting Byron Allen for actual reasons to boycott Byron Allen, like saying that he doesn't need to make a media that's specifically for Black people, if this is the thing that got people's eyebrows raised about Byron Allen and they saying that they need to boycott him because of this, man, they already lost in the sauce.
True. She works for Byron Allen?
Yeah, she on the grill. You know, Byron Allen bought the grill.
Oh Lord, that man. You know where exactly does he get all these people from, man? Because everybody on the grill, they recycle independent media. I guess they were independent, but now they work for him. So they went from dumpster fire to another dumpster fire. I didn't know she worked for him because Byron Allen, man, him himself, he's an opportunist. He hires these other opportunists. They're not entertaining. They don't bring any productivity. And I mentioned this before a while ago. Mark Lamont Hill, he's a professor of media studies, but yet he's on media platforms and he can't even boost them.
Mark Lamont Hill. I'm surprised she didn't have him on there agreeing with everything that she said. And she said, yeah, and I'm surprised Mark Lamont Hill didn't say, and if black men would show up in leadership roles the way they show up for Freaknik, then we'd be in a better place as a community and shit. You know what I'm saying? She could have been like, yeah, snapped her fingers, you know what I'm saying? She would have been all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
That would be hilarious.
so for us to react to, you know what I'm saying? All right, let's see what else she's talking about.
Be a personal question. And y'all know I have been extremely transparent about the fact that my life choices and my chosen lifestyle are far outside of the norm. So when I said that I would date the bus owner, a lot of y'all heard something different. Some of you heard the following: bus drivers are whack. Bus drivers are broke. Oh, and I'm too good for a bus driver. The only thing is, y'all made that part up. See, I said what I said. But then some of y'all started talking about salaries and hourly wages, pensions and benefits. And that's wild because I was never talking about money at all. I was talking about black ownership, but some of y'all made it about money. I'm talking about ownership, black enterprise and entrepreneurship, because really I am talking about black liberation.
So how come she didn't ask, is the bus driver driving the bus for a black owned company then, if that's what the biggest issue was that she was concerned about? See, like, I think right here, this is one of the reasons why you should never double down, because now you lying. And then like now you got people that's about to ask questions and pick your argument apart because we ain't got shit else to do. You know what I'm saying? See, like, I ain't got shit else to do. I got all day. So now I'm about to like pick apart every single argument that you said and just ask, well, why do you say this? Why do you say that? You know what I'm saying? That's why you just double down. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't say shit and just keep it moving. She shouldn't have said shit. Now you done opened up a whole hour's worth of content where we about to fuck with you and shit.
Right. Like, how does that even correlate?
Right. And like, and my thing is, how many people has she dealt with that are involved in a black ownership capacity of anything?
Probably not very many.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think her fiance, the ex-fiance, was involved in any black ownership capacity except for maybe his great grandparents owning a plantation and a couple of slaves. You know what I'm saying? But
he owned her ass too.
but aside from that though, like, what else though? Who else? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the black ownership issue? You know what I'm saying? Like, that if that's the thing that you're trying to do, and then that's what makes sense. But is that necessarily what she's trying to do, or is she just saying that because like now she's got the hot seat on her and she's just trying to say it? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm asking these questions. We need to get her up on the show.
Yeah, I think she's just trying to save face here.
Yeah. You know, we got to come with a big bag if we get her on the show. We got to give her a bus. Let's get her a bus with a bow tie on it.
Nah, shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson. We got to give her a whole damn bus line.
You know, speaking of the bus line, you know, Dr. Claude Anderson family used to own a bus line.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So whoever got super chat that's streaming this, make sure y'all send them some super chats so that we can buy a bus and send it to Ehoni K with a bow on it, and maybe she hit the StreamYard link.
If you read my book, you'll understand why. So I'm standing 10 toes down on that position, and I don't really care if you're hurt or offended by it. And since some of y'all are already big mad, let me go ahead and make you incensed. So out of the 50,000 plus comments posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position, and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of black men when I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and black women in general as.
See, she picked up on the shame, blame, explain. Mm-hmm. She said shaming. She picked up on the S part in the BE. You know what I'm saying? Architect said it's draining to have a relationship with insecure people. When a woman earns more than a man, they are usually jealous of said woman. Now, I got a question for you, Architect. Do you think that a woman earning more than a man can enhance those type A and what is that, extroverted personality traits and kind of mutate into some narcissism and micromanagement on the part of the woman? I think that there's a little bit of a dual dynamic that goes on there. I think a man could possibly feel insecure if a woman is earning more, but I think a woman could turn into Mrs. Hyde at the same time with those things. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I'm curious, and everybody in the chat, don't be afraid to respond to that too. What do you guys think? Oh shit! Sounds like somebody got shot. Everybody okay up there?
Man, I don't know, man. Insecurity, I would say yes, she's insecure. And I mean, but if she was earning more than a man, I don't think she was earning more than her old partner, that guy right there. And I mean, like when it comes to it, I mean, like as long as you guys are comfortable, you shouldn't be insecure. Naps TV mentioned that she worked at Fox News. I didn't even know she worked at Fox News, but apparently she worked at Fox News. And you guys got high paying job, good careers. What's to be insecure about? You know?
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's something different. I think you might have touched on it a little bit too, Rob. I think you were saying it's kind of both personalities have a little bit of issues. I think sometimes when women do make a little bit more money, they tend to treat you a little different.
Yeah.
So I think
yeah, no, I agree. Like one thing that women like to say a lot is that I'm not trying to raise another child. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's used a lot of times out of context, but it's something that gets thrown out there a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think she definitely was doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely seemed like she don't pull no punches. Matter of fact, she seemed like she hit the bullseye every time.
Yeah.
She hitting that speed bag every time. You know about that shit, girl.
Yeah, she ain't pulling no punches. Yeah, you want to fight every time, but you can't do nothing. You hitting walls.
Facts. So the architect says no. The man shoes his insecurities by cheating. Oh, okay, talking down, etc. Women would genuinely love someone despite income, but men care about income. Really, you think so? I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Yeah, I think that's a two-way street right there.
I think that broke men care about income. I don't think that men who make money, independent men, and men who are affluent really care so much. See, and I think that that's one of the reasons why the gender war content is so watered down and lame, is because they don't talk about all of the nuances. Like I think it's a spectrum on how people care about money. I think the less money you have, the more money you care about it, or the more exposed you are, like the more quickly you start to earn money. Like if you didn't have any money and you got some money now, all of a sudden, I think that can change how you deal with other people that aren't in the same income bracket as you. Across gender dynamics, though, me personally, just in my experience, I've never really been interested in or cared about what a woman makes. It's not something that has ever really been a concern to me, but I make a decent living to take care of myself anyway, so I wouldn't really feel threatened by a woman's income. I wouldn't lose any freedom dealing with a woman that actually happens to make money. Now, like somebody else might feel a different kind of way if they don't make a decent amount of money and then they have a woman that's making a lot of money. I can see those insecurities come in, and because they feel like they're not going to have enough control or influence over the relationship. But I don't know. These are things that I'm saying based on assumptions because I've never really been in those kind of situations. But it's interesting to hear people talk about it. What y'all think?
Yeah, I agree with you, Rob.
Yeah, like my bad. Go ahead.
Oh no, I wasn't about to say that. I was just agree with you.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Let me see. Men. Oh, okay. The architect says men care that their income is higher. Oh, men. Are you saying men care about their own income being higher? Yasmin says, how are people mad she doesn't want to date a bus driver? I don't know. You'd have to ask somebody that's mad she doesn't want to date a bus driver. I don't think any of us really care. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think any of us are bus drivers either. So we really don't have a. You know what I'm saying? Is anybody up here a bus driver? Did anybody catch the bus this morning? I don't think anybody here is involved in any of that. So,
I drive trucks, so it's kind of the same, but
I mean, it is. Do bus drivers have to have a CDL? Is it the same kind of license as a truck driver? Or?
Yeah, they have to have a Class B CDL.
Okay. Now, what kind of CDL license do truck drivers have?
Usually it's Class A or sometimes it's Class B. It just depends on the truck.
Okay. So they have a Class A CDL, a Class B CDL, and a Class C woman.
Desirable gold diggers and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best. Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of Black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm gonna say one more time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that Black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy. And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning Black Americans to happily accept being a permanent.
So I think it's interesting how we went from this is oh yeah, we got some feedback. So if whoever that is with the sound, if y'all could mute the mic. I think it's interesting how we went from that whole bus driver thing to now we're dealing with white supremacy. Shout out to Win and Loser Rug. What's up with it? What do you think about that?
I think it's interesting too.
Yeah, I think that whole thing was interesting. She said, hey, you know, so I was looking at Yasmin's comment and she said, you're a class D slave man, you know. So who gave us this mentality? Because she said that we've been conditioned, but conditioned by who? Because isn't this what they've been selling for like the longest to the Black community, that get the okay job and, you know, you'll be fine in life? Now, I would say the narrative has switched to being workers to owners, but for the longest they've been telling us to be workers. Is that not what Al Sharpton them has been selling us for the longest?
Yeah, and Al Sharpton and them, that's her people.
That's her people. And last time I checked, she's a worker too. I know we're paid worker, but working nonetheless.
Yeah.
But see, to me, that's a crazy angle to take. Like, how do you? None of it really made sense, and none of it really went together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's where it's the same thing that you see across the board with like men and women, and a lot of these like YouTubers and social commentary, social heads. You know what I'm saying? Anytime some dumb shit happens, or anytime I get some backlash, or anything falls short, then basically I said it, you know, to try to get Black people together and warn Black people of white supremacy. Like, there's a lot of other shit going on besides some bus driver comment. You know what I'm saying? Like, some dude just got choked out in the subway and shit like that, and the person that choked him out isn't in jail. And you know, that dude is probably lower on the social class than the bus driver. Okay, you know what I mean? Like to me, like, people just fall into this babble and just throw that shit out there, like, oh, you know, blah 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 blah. And so, like, instead of actually being consistent on the same time, now you come with this you're not being pro-Black, you're being pro-whack, and you're using that shit as a finger wagging and shaming tactic. Like I said from the get-go, if she don't want to date a bus driver, just don't date a bus driver, and you don't need to explain yourself to anybody. Now you get into all this trouble of now you're expanding on what you're saying, and your expansion on what you're saying is diluting your original message.
You know who she should be attacking, by the way? The older generation. Because for the longest we've been told, you know, hey, you guys should go get a job at Walmart, man. They got good benefits and yada 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 yada. Now, as time has progressed and they have, you know, pretty much cornered the market in a lot of the Black communities as they're the only job opportunity, we're seeing how wrong they were. So instead of us focusing on getting a job with somebody, we should have been building up our own stores and all that, which, you know, I will admit that some Black people have been doing. But because of I would say the political side, where you can have these companies, they get all these benefits and all this other nonsense that they don't deserve. So they have the money and resources to come into your neighborhood. And then we had the older Black generation just cheering them on, saying, you know what, I'd rather have a Walmart in my community than a local owned store. You know what I'm saying? So she should be condemning the older generation.
And that old generation is dumb as hell. They'll drive across town because they think that if it's a whole bunch of white people at a store, then that means that it's a better quality store. You getting somebody ringing you out regardless. Like, what do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. I never understood why old people did that. Like, I'm about to go to the other side.
They still doing it.
Yeah, they still do it. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, they wonder why they're broke. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, with the capitalism and the socioeconomic pyramid, Black people make everybody rich, everybody makes white people rich, and then in between that, the buffer classes, each buffer class makes themselves rich, which locks us. We perpetuate and continue to contribute to our own being locked out at the bottom. So the thing is that before we look to the government or anybody else as far as legislation or anything like that to assist us with not being locked out at the bottom, which I don't think the government interested in anything other than continuing to use us for nonsense. You know what I'm saying? We got to take care of that on our own. You know what I'm saying? We have to dominate the economy. We have to dominate our local areas and then dominate the world. Until we do that, you know what I'm saying? Like, people just gonna continue to look at us sideways. Like, well, y'all ain't even trying to make each other rich. Why we about to make you rich?
Right. And let me say this point too.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Local policies and matters, man. Look what's happening to Professor Black Truth did that video on the farmer. You see how they were colluding against him. They weren't even worried about him paying off his loan. They just wanted to take the property from him because they wanted to own the freaking property. That's why local politics matter, man. You got to watch who's in your local office.
Right.
And,
yeah.
And guess what?
Agree.
Those older black voters vote blue no matter who.
Yep.
True.
Yep. That's big facts. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta agree with the architect. Architect says high school dropouts equal poor underclass. I agree. You know what I'm saying? And another thing is, like, this generation that we see now is literally the generation of no home training. Like, you remember how people used to say, like, y'all don't have no home training. This is literally what adults who had no home training as children look like.
It's real.
This generation of people, man, like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So let me see. So now, how many of y'all want to look at that? The actual interview with DJ Envy. I know y'all ready for this, because this is what everybody wanted to see. Hold on real quick. Let me just.
Yeah, he lit her up, man.
DJ Envy?
He posted her up, man.
Did he?
DJ Envy?
Yeah, he did. Like, he was actually asking her that, he was actually giving her some quality questions, man. Like, we'll see. I'll let you know when we watch the interview.
Man, me and Grind like DJ Envy for real. DJ Envy, he actually did that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about DJ Envy. You know what I'm saying? But hey, if he did it, that's what's good. You know what I'm
usually I'm not a fan, but he's been flipping, man. I don't know if they're trying to get another crowd on that breakfast show or what's going on, but
he got to make up, you know what I'm saying, for a lot of stupidity that he's done and said. And I don't know, man, like, at the end of the day, like, after you've messed up, like DJ Envy's messed up, like, literally anything you say, somebody can just say, but you still a simp though. You know what I'm saying? And you're done. You know what I mean? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, make sure you guys smash the like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, make sure you guys hit the bell. And also, if you guys can, please make sure you guys share the stream to your social media.
What, he like me?
No, I mean, he was a culprit. He was involved in it.
Hold on real quick. I don't know why it's got that shit like that. Hold on real quick.
Wake that ass up in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got our guest co-host from Horrible Decisions, Weezy and Mandy B here, who's been a lot of sex talk earlier today, but
And just so y'all know,
hold on real quick, man. I don't know what's going on with my screen. Give me a second, y'all.
Wake that ass up in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Charlamagne the Guy.
Hold on, y'all see that shit? It won't. The picture won't expand. Hold on.
Probably got too many tabs open.
I don't even have that many.
The Breakfast Club.
Hold on.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Charlamagne the Guy.
All right, hold on. Let me see. All right, there we go. Now we good. Let me just see and make sure this. I'll play back 125. All right. Let me see. All right, we good. All right.
We are the Breakfast Club. We got our guest co-host from Horrible Decisions, Weezy and Mandy B here, who's been a lot of sex talk earlier today, but
and just so y'all know, off air, Envy in here lying, y'all, but I ain't gonna call him out.
Pause.
Yeah, what happened? What, did Rob get laid out or something? What the?
He might have something might have happened real quick.
It probably crashed or anything like that, man.
Yep.
All right, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, you good now.
All right,
I was
yeah.
wondering what happened.
I don't know. But yo, that's old girl from Horrible Decisions. Remember we was gonna react to Horrible
Oh,
Decisions?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's her. I thought she looked familiar when I was watching this. I was like, man, she looked familiar than a motherfucker. That's her. All right, let's get it.
he was a culprit. He was involved in an activity that he ain't shared with everybody.
You was part of that activity,
No,
Charlamagne.
I was not. I had nothing to do with you.
Ebony,
Part of that. Anyway, we got a special guest in the building as well.
Special guest in the building.
Okay.
Ebony K. Williams is here.
Ebony K. Williams.
Good morning, Breakfast Club fam. Good morning, Horrible Decisions family.
Hello, fam.
This is like a family reunion up in this piece.
It
right?
really is.
I feel like we about to start fighting, so let's just say we love each other.
So DJ almost said, according to the Daily Mail, Ebony was allegedly arrested for shoplifting, stealing a $245 shoe. So she only stole one in 2002, but did not face jail time because her case was deferred and later dropped. I didn't know
what else
about
need
that.
to be dropped?
Huh?
You know what else need to be dropped? She got her book position right in front of her for everybody can go buy it. Did you see that?
She ain't playing out here. I'm not mad at. Put the book right in front of you. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Double down on that shit. You know what I'm saying? She's trying to make money. She's a modern woman. She is not trying to follow anybody's rules. She's not trying to do shit anybody's saying. She's trying to make money. She said that her sole purpose of what she's trying to do is secure assets in her position in the world. So that's what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? She said some crazy shit. Now she's on a tour. She's making that money. Her plan is going exactly the way that it's supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? And the thing
nice
is,
strategy.
Yeah, like the thing is that people ain't paying attention to the strategies. You know what I'm saying? Like she working. She's not working in a way where, you know what I'm saying, like a lot of men are like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate what you're doing out here, Ebony, but she doing shit for herself though. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, to me, like this is the way that the world is moving. People gonna have to adjust. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why she would steal a shoe. I don't know. Maybe she was about to whoop somebody's ass with it. I don't know. She looked like she'd turn up real quick. She's probably about to whoop somebody's ass for real. You know what I'm saying? What y'all think? The lovely Sherry says it's called branding. Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I'm not gonna even go there. But why didn't DJ? Did they even introduce her book or not? Or do we not get to that?
I don't know. I don't think we got to it yet. Let's check it out some more.
I actually feel bad. I actually feel bad, and I'm gonna tell you why I feel bad, because I did two things this week that I normally don't do. Number one, if somebody I know is got something going on social media, we should have spoke to them.
I appreciate
and
that.
not about them. You know what I mean? And Ebony is our people.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we should have probably spoke to her, you know, reached out to her like we always do for everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't watch the full interview with Ayanla. I watched the clip online.
The good thing I reached out to you, my good brother.
Yes,
and we had a productive, spirited conversation.
Yes, we did.
And
See, she reached out to the Breakfast Club. Who think somebody think they about to control her?
Yeah, she was like, I want to get my message out here.
Yeah, I mean, she said, I'm getting on here. I'm about to take control of the narrative. That's that alpha shit. I'm finna take control. Y'all not about to be running this shit up without me. I'm about to get in on this shit too. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what it is. This is the new world. I'm not mad at this. But the thing is that there's shit that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. And to me, like, I don't think motherfuckers should, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Like, she said what she said. I can understand why people would have an issue with it, but at the same time, no, pay attention to the moves. Cause like she's making moves. She's embracing that full villainy, and she don't care about what anybody is saying. And like, look at how people are reacting to this shit. She viral on social media with this silly ass shit. How many, man, TLC made that song back in the day, No Scrubs, and she probably got, because of the internet age, she probably got more hits and more mentions and more hashtags and more social media engagement on saying she don't want to date a bus driver, or she don't want to be with a bus driver, than what TLC would have got an equivalent to when that song Scrubs came out. You know what I'm saying? She trying to make money. She don't care about no man.
Right.
Men got to understand that these women don't care about your ass. The only reason she cares is if she can get it back from you. She wouldn't have called Charlamagne for any other reason other than let's get this popping. That's what she said. Because she probably had on that same motherfucking melon-colored business jacket talking about let's get it popping. How much y'all gonna pay me to come on there and promote my book? That after y'all pay me to come on there and promote my book, then I'm gonna get paid off my book. I ain't mad at that shit, man. Like, to me, honestly, if dudes don't want to deal with modern women, which most dudes don't want to deal with modern women, at the least learn how to embrace the villainy and make the moves the way they are, so you can get some motherfucking power and money and resources and assets because they doing that shit. But it's taking the toll on, you know what I'm saying, the desire that people have to want to be able to make families and shit like that. Everything is a give or take. You can't have it all. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what like men are not liking the fact that these women are sacrificing their relationships with men for this. And it is what it is.
And that's why we have these deranged ass men in the manosphere going off on women.
Yeah.
Calling them strags and everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, just go find somebody else because every woman ain't Ehoni K. So why are you, you know what I mean? Like, who cares?
Right. You know, in my case, I think I can deal with a modern woman, man. Like, as long as there's respect in the relationship and everything, we're respecting each other, we're getting along with each other, we're running the household together. I don't mind anything, but if she tries to take over, like on some Ebony type stuff, nah, man. If she's out there talking reckless, nah, doing these interviews, talking down on other groups of people, we ain't gonna get along. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna change. You know, I'm not gonna even leave the house. I'm just gonna change the locks on the house.
Bro, Ebony is wild, bro. She said in that little video from the grill, she literally just said like, "Yo, I get paid to talk shit, so I don't care what y'all talking about. Like, I'm gonna say what the fuck I want to say and get paid. Like, yo, you wild out here. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. Let's see what else she talking about.
And you rolled out the red carpet, and that's why I'm here today. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Now, did who watch the full interview with Ayanna in here?
I did listen to the full Holding Court episode
well.
with Ehoni K. Williams and Dustin Ross. Of course, I saw the clips as well, and I as well responded on my podcast. See, the thing is, and spoke about it as well. However, there was more agreement with you than not, and so I'm excited to have this conversation.
Ayanna was
Of course, the horrible decisions chicks would agree with her. we still got to react to one of their podcasts, but of course the horrible decisions chicks, you know, there's probably like, oh hell yeah, girl, that's what I'm talking about,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you already know horrible decisions. what time they on? They don't give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? But you know,
the issue when watching it though, like, I mean, I made a comment on your page and Breakfast Club page, and men was jumping down my throat because I'm like, what does it matter what she wants to be with? But I think the other comments were tough to watch.
So here's the thing. I want to, first of all, as I started with my Holding Court episode, offer gratitude because I think what we know, the fact that this conversation with myself and Dr. Ayanna, shout out to my SOAR, it aired last week. And let's talk about what's happened since then. We've had a whole White House correspondence.
Oh, she said shout out to her soror. So they sorority sisters. What sorority is Ehoni K in? I think, did somebody say she was a Alpha Kappa Alpha?
No, I think she's a heifer-fied heifer.
He said she a heifer-fied heifer.
Yeah. I don't actually know, man. But these sorority girls, man. Ooh, yeah, Kamala Harris is a sorority girl.
Yeah, ski week.
Oh, they losing their damn mind, bro.
Yeah.
Ski week. You know what I'm saying? Look, Shatera's still trying to figure out in what world does a media personality date a bus driver. I had said the same thing. I said, ain't no bus drivers in her inbox.
Right.
Ain't no bus drivers hit her up on the gram. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no bus drivers hit her up on Twitter. I bet you a bunch did now trolling because they triggered. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't think no bus drivers is in her inbox. You know what I'm saying? I think her inbox is pretty safe from the bus drivers. You know what I'm saying?
Which Roy Wood Jr. killed. Shout out to Roy. We've had the Met Gala. We've got a war in Ukraine and still a war in Sudan. And yet folks is still talking about this shit more than anything else. And I think that speaks to something, right? I think it speaks to the insatiable nature of the fact that we've got to have this conversation as Black men and women. And we talking about the Black family structure and Black wealth.
Hey, honestly, I ain't mad at her for bringing that up, though, because she said, yo, the world about to fall apart and y'all motherfuckers talking about this shit.
Right.
Which is true. And the YouTube algorithm doesn't lie. I mean, you know, like artificial intelligence is about to take over the world. You know what I'm saying? The Democrats stay practicing benign neglect. Racial wealth gap is increasing more and more. But this is trending all over the place. I mean, she got a point. But at the same time, she know what she's doing. She knew that this shit would trend, which is why she did the shit. And then she gonna turn around and shame motherfuckers for making the shit trend, which is what you're trying to do in the first place.
Right.
That's that modern shit. That's that modern shit. You know what I'm saying?
Building it. All of those are tenets that are tethered to why this has hit such a nerve and why it's reverberating. You know, in a way, Tyrese posting about it, Jason Lee posting about it, the Shade Room posting about it, Spiritual World posting about it. Ava DuVernay in the comments, Viola
Viola
Davis
Davis,
in the
girl.
comments.
What was Viola saying?
We get to it. So that's a good thing. I want to start by that framework. Nothing about this is negative. People are disagreeing. People are feeling away. We're going to talk about it. But I want to start by the framing that we cannot have rupture in the culture and not do the work of repair. So to me, this is a conversation about repairing and restoring what has historically been a productive, valuable conversation and relationship between Black men and women that somehow, some way has gotten away from us.
Well, yeah, I think it's two different conversations. Like I watched the full. Like I don't care who.
There's a lot of people that don't know what you're talking about. That might have just tuned in and have no idea.
So, Frank, go ahead, Frank.
Do they live under a rock?
Some people, because you have to tell people what you're talking about.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
It's some from comments that, because I don't want to misconstrue, because we only had a small piece of your conversation with Ayanna.
Sure.
So during your Ayanna conversation, she asked if you would date a bus driver.
So let me back up for 1 second and be correct. I invited Ayanna on my Griot show. That Griot show airs on Byron Allen's network. The Griot airs every night at 6. Let's first of
all right. So Shatera said that people saying that Byron Allen and the Griot should get boycotted because of this. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that Byron Allen and the Griot need to be boycotted because of this? What y'all think?
I mean, they're already getting boycotted. Nobody watching.
Yeah, exactly.
That ship's gone.
Yeah, no doubt. They bought a channel that was boycotted already because the Griot, all of those channels are just the Black news channel with different channel art on them after the Black news channel collapsed. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, wasn't nobody watching that shit anyway, and he bought some shit that was already tanking, and it's still tanking. You know what I'm saying? So, So let me know in the comment section if you guys think that Byron Allen should be boycotted. Give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that Byron Allen should be boycotted, give me a thumbs down. And if you guys haven't smashed the like button on the video, make sure you guys smash the like button. And also, if you guys haven't hit the bell and subscribed, make sure you guys do that.
I'll start with this. Whole shit is y'all's fault.
It always is.
This whole shit is y'all's fault here at the Breakfast Club. No, love y'all. Y'all had Ayanna on, and Ayanna made a statement on the Breakfast Club morning show, and she said that a lot of young Black ladies out here are men in skirts.
Which you agree with?
Which I found very provocative. Did I not call you that day? I said, "Oh, this is spicy."
She said that what did she say? A lot of Black women are men in skirts.
Black men are women are
She said. She said Black men are women in skirts.
Yeah.
See, that's that psychological transgenderism we was talking about. I ain't get a chance to do a stream about that, but man, people don't get it, man. Like the motherfucking damage that the world has done is very deep, and people get offended because I'm saying that this shit is called psychological transgenderism. But you got to look at the context of it. And honestly, it's some shit to what she's saying and shit. And honestly, I think that's part of the issue right there. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if you have a certain kind of body and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, but the fake transgenderism that they talk about in mainstream society is real when it comes to the psychological mind fuck that white supremacy has done to Black men and Black women, which makes it why there's a lot of issues with the incompatibilities and shit like that. And why you have, you know what I'm saying, all these content creators calling the men feminine and bussy, and the men calling the women, you know what I'm saying, masculine and shit like that. It's because of the way society's been turned upside down and fucked with, you know what I'm saying, by the United States government and them sanctioning and allowing the population at large to participate in that shit. And the thing is that people haven't recovered from that and actually made moves to stop it or either reverse it. See, the thing is that this psychological confusion of gender war and gender roles and shit like that in white society, they're doing that because they want to explore and be on some different shit that people aren't on. This is actually part of the confusion, that maximum sophisticated confusion shit that Neely Fuller Jr. was talking about, that white supremacist brain damage causes, you know what I'm saying, non-white people. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole different conversation. And the thing is that even on the Breakfast Club, they're not trying to even get into that conversation because they just using gender war content. They see it got moves on social media. They're not trying to get to the root of the problem because if you get to the root of the problem, you're not going to have as much Democrat support. You know what I'm saying? If you get to the root of the problem, people going to have a real big issue with white supremacy and start looking at everything sideways. They just doing this shit for a paycheck. And it's really sad that they could actually take this conversation and turn it into something bigger and better and actually productive. But they trying to run up a bag. Ehoni K trying to run up the bag her way, the Breakfast Club trying to run up the bag their way, Byron Allen trying to run up the bag his way, and everybody trying to eat while everybody else out here still trying to navigate through the world and still confused. You know what I'm saying? That shit crazy, man. It's crazy to sit back and then just pay attention to how this shit works and how people fall for it and people get invested in the wrong teams. Like when it come to us playing, like if like the world was playing basketball, when it come to how we getting down, the bench is playing against the starters and the other team kicking our ass. you know what I mean? Like that shit crazy, bro. You know? But anyway, shit. Anybody else got anything to say? Y'all want to chime in?
I agree exactly with the bench. We got the bench players playing against the starters.
Yeah. Shit is crazy, bro. Shit is crazy. But I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, a few super chats, a couple book deals, why not? It's worth it. Problem solved. You know what I mean?
AC, I would love to participate in this conversation. And then you do what you always do, and you went radio silent. That's cool. So then I invite her. Everybody that knows Charlamagne and is a loving relationship with Charlamagne knows that's the shit he pulled. It's cool. I never take it personal. So it's cool. It's always love for 7 years. So then I said to my team, I said, reach out to Iyanla. Let's book her. Let's bring her on the grill because I want to have the conversation and probably more productively, right, y'all? Black woman to black woman. Yep. Let's talk to each other. And also generation to generation. Let's talk to each other.
She old.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was gonna say
you should hope to get to that age.
That's it.
Oh, no, of course. I want to age. I want to age.
Amen. Gracefully, beautifully. Okay, so Iyanla comes on, and I say, this is the framing I say to Dr. Vanzar, to Iyanla. I say, sis, Dr. Soror, talk to me about what you would recommend Black women do in terms of our posture and positioning. When you're right, I am showing up in a posture of building, providing, and protecting my own self. I'm showing up in masculine energy, as you would call it. Yep. I'm conceding your point.
See, so now that's what I want y'all to pay attention to. She does not deny any of the tenets of a masculine woman. Like, I think that there's like some type of confusion or like some type of disconnect out here when you see like most of these content creators on YouTube talk about this kind of stuff in terms of like gender war content. These women ain't denying that they're masculine women. These women ain't denying the fact that they modern women either. So I don't understand like why from the male point or from the male perspective, there's so much content like these are masculine women. They sit up like Ehoni K will tell you, yeah, I'm masculine, motherfucker. What? You know what I'm saying? Like she just said that shit in so many words. You know what I mean? Like, so why we need more videos about the shit?
They gotta keep the grift going.
Got to keep that.
Yeah, you got to keep that going, man. And to be honest, man, a lot of people in the manosphere, they ain't got nothing else to talk about.
Yeah.
They can't enlighten you on anything. I mean, you know, like I said, I thought the manosphere was supposed to be like, you know, helping men get to the next level, you know, financially, you know, helping them economically, politically, and all that. But no, it's just a bunch of gender warring nonsense, talking down on women and all that stuff. That's why I couldn't like.
Well, I think it's like certain sectors of the manosphere, and like I've told the people that I'm cool with that are a part of the manosphere, it's not everybody in the manosphere that does like what you're talking about, Jay. It's just the people with the loudest mics that tend to be the ones that do that, and the people that don't have the loudest mics are the ones who people should actually be listening to, that are actually good representatives, and they just don't get the publicity that they should get because people are more interested in watching the Jerry Springer type nonsense that they can put in their pocket on a cell phone. You know
that's true. Yeah, that's true. You know, I'm going to admit this. I don't know that many people in the manosphere, but the people I have seen are pretty much Angry Bird, Anton Daniels, Kevin Samuels, may he rest in peace. I don't know that many people in the manosphere, but from what I've seen in the manosphere, it's a sinking ship, man. It's a Titanic. You need to get on a freaking lifeboat and get out of there.
Right.
Yeah. See, like I watched like my dude Keep It 100. Who else? Black Men Being Brutally Honest. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson and Green Gorilla, like cats like them. Most times, like they don't really get on that kind of like, you know, like that kind of celebrity junk nonsense where every woman is Brittany Renner type shit. Like they actually talk about actual content and advocacy, which is not really what you see like on the forefront of that shit, which gives everybody a bad name. You know what I mean? It's just like when it comes to the manosphere, it's like the same shit with conservatives, right? It's so many of them motherfuckers is racist. Everybody just look at conservatives like, yo, these motherfuckers is racist. You know what I'm saying? But like for the one or two that's not, the majority have made it a bad name.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the algorithm is boosting up the idiots in the YouTube because they just, you know, I would say this about the idiots in the conservative. they don't think about what they're going to do. They just start talking out their mouth. So they can put out more content because they're not actually working on their content. They just try to push out this one narrative. So it's hardly anything to think about. This is why you have these same mimicking individuals pushing out the same content. Just think about Officer Tantrum. His main narrative is, and the only thing he has to talk about on his channel to get these people to keep watching him, black people are bad, black culture is bad, and what do I need to know about black people today that can help me discourage them tomorrow? That's all he talk about. Like that's his duty.
Yeah, I agree.
And he need to drop that officer tag because he was like an officer 5 years, and that was like 8 years ago.
Right.
What else has he accomplished?
The only thing the only thing he accomplishes is 2 million undeserved subscribers on YouTube. That's about it.
Undeserved is I don't know what. He's got to be.
I don't even know how he got the 2 mil.
Me neither, bro. Look,
super grift.
old girl right here on Horrible Decisions doing better than him. They be wilding on Horrible Decisions, man. We definitely next reacts, bro. We gotta get one of those in.
Okay.
He does, yeah.
But tell me how you would guide me to not do so when, I'll be honest, I don't really feel like I can trust that if I don't do it, that there's going to be adequate, keyword there, adequate provision and protection if I don't do it.
Now, check this out right now, right here, what Ehoni K is doing right now. Regardless, there's a lot of like women empowerment people on YouTube, and you know what I'm saying, like you hear these messages all the time, but to me it don't matter where you hear these messages from. These messages have an origin point, right? So like if you base certain things on data, certain things may be true and certain things may not be true. But in many cases, when people are this hard on a position, the reason why they're coming so hard on that position is because there's something about their life, some event that they've dealt with, or some piece of their life story where this very thing really affected them in a lasting way to the point where it's changed the direction of their life and created a new framework of how they view the world. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point Ehoni K reveals an issue with a man in her past that she had that she felt unprotected by, or you know, like something wasn't adequate. Not saying it's a boyfriend, not saying it's a husband, it could be a father, a brother, who knows. But when people are this passionate and this invested, a lot of times it's projection from a self experience. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, projection.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I know I've there's certain things that I'm invested in, and shout out to my man, Help Me. What's good with it, bro? Certain things that I'm invested in, or certain things that I feel, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know for a fact I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't biased, and I'm invested in them because it's part of my lived experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm invested in dealing with racism. Why? Because I'm a black person. We deal with that shit all the time. I don't know how invested in racism I would be if I was a white person. You know what I'm saying? Other than being a racist or ignoring it. You know what I mean? But because I'm who I am, I experience it. It's something that I deal with. It's the same thing. Like if I knew something, that's a lot of people become like cancer advocates and shit like that because somebody that they really loved or cared for died to cancer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's that kind of shit. And I think that all goes back to the whole point of psychological damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, that's one of the reasons why Neely Fuller Jr. and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing were so accurate, because they studied on the psychology. You know what I'm saying? And even Kevin Samuels, as much as people don't like Kevin Samuels, people hate Kevin Samuels, right? And people hate Cynthia G. They hate them both, right? But both of them refer shit back to either go see a counselor or a psychological pathology, which I find interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just an interesting reference point. And if you ask me, like, a lot of the shit is for real because of psychology. But where do you get a psychologist that can dive deep into these issues and actually understand what it is that you're manifesting through your life experience and how to deal with certain things that you may have going on? Where do you find that at? A psychological specialist in white supremacy brain damage. I would say Umar Johnson, but you probably feel like your brain was put in a blender after you got done listening to him, and then you'd be hypnotized because he'd repeat every damn thing 3 times like it's supposed to come out of a genie and shit.
You know, they say if you go up to a school and you rub it 3 times,
Will it actually appear?
Oh, man. Damn.
Man, all you gonna know is donations messing with him, man.
Yeah, he gonna
Right.
be asking for while he's sitting there trying to counsel you.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. This,
Yo,
this
next
guy.
next time Umar go live, somebody just type Candyman in the comment section and see if he repeat that shit 3 times. You have to listen to him again.
And
is
she
how you
said,
said
that's
it.
exactly how I said it, right? And she said, beloved, would you date a bus driver? And then the clip goes. And then I did stare into the abyss because I wasn't really sure where we were going. But okay, because she is an elder and she's also my soror and the deference, if you know, you know, I'm going to go with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly answered y'all in that moment. If he owned the bus, and that's what I said, Envy, but what people heard based on the comments, that I said bus drivers wasn't shit. People heard that I said that bus drivers broke, don't make no money, ain't got no
I don't know why this is so funny, man. I don't know why this. Does anybody else find this comical? Like, I can't take this shit serious. Like, she's so over the top. Like, come on, man, stop it. And the thing that's crazy is, like, DJ Envy really mad. Like, he came in on one. Like, he was side eyeing while the credits was still rolling. While the intro. Like, that shit is just crazy, man. And real quick, y'all, if you guys are watching on the REACTZ podcast channel, you guys see Grind and Motivates channel link just went in there. Yo, Jay and Bronze, if y'all want to, y'all could drop y'all channel links into the chat so that people go and check you guys' channel out. And if you guys haven't smashed the like button, also make sure you guys smash the like button. And if you guys haven't hit the bell, make sure you guys hit that bell.
benefits and that they were beneath me. That somehow was the interpretation of me saying that I will date a bus owner. Now, let me tell you what I actually said, and this is what the whole Holding Court shit was about. Go check that out right now where you get your podcast, Holding Court with Ehoni K. Williams featuring Dustin Ross. I said on Holding Court, y'all, let me tell you why ownership is it for me. It's not about salary. Y'all made it about salary. Y'all started debating 125 a year versus 160 a year versus 200 a year.
Well, you did quote stats before you went into the thing with Ayana. You
Well,
talked about women
income,
women earn more money than men.
And I talked about Black women buying more homes. We buy homes at single Black women are buying 20% of the market share of new real estate on the market. I know because I just closed last summer and it was a shit show in underwriting. That's another
They're
conversation.
graduating more. They're in
graduating.
college. Yeah.
I sent it to you, Charlotte.
Now, let me ask you guys something, because the Breakfast Club be on some BS when it comes to copyright. So I'm trying to have it sped up a little bit. If I sped it up to 1.5 just so that the AI don't recognize it, you guys think that you'll still be able to understand it, or will it be too fast?
Just try it out.
Yeah.
Let's try it. All right, let me know what y'all think.
You guys do so much work on the Breakfast Club about what HBCUs. And I was devastated when my good friend Eugene Scott sent me a post, Washington Post article that said Black men are going to HBCUs 1 to 2. It's 2 to 1 for Black women graduating. So these are things we got to look at, because you have daughters and you have daughters, and some of y'all in here got daughters. And if they're going to want to partner and marry men and Black men at that, and they're going to want to build together, as you two cite your marriages as examples of, we gotta talk about how people can be equally yoked. So back to ownership, Charlamagne. I said ownership is key for me. Why? Not because I'm a bougie bitch. This is not about everybody being a Harvard surgeon. This is about this book right here, Bet on Black. You read it, Charlamagne. Y'all were at the party. Y'all know what time it is.
That's what this book is on. That's what this is all about. this is all about that book.
But hey, let me ask you a question. I see her resume, but did she ever own her own news platform or anything like that? Especially coming into the age where we can just jump up one morning and create a podcast or anything. Has she ever owned one?
That's a good question, bro, and I do not have the answer for you. Is there anybody in the comment section that knows the answer? Has she ever owned a news platform or a media platform or anything like that? Shout out to my man Tori and Rain. What's good with it, bro?
And also,
if you want to, no problem. If you wanted to hop in, make sure that you hit that link. It's in your Twitter. You know what I'm saying?
And let me say this too, man, because we got to talk about this book, Bet on Black. Now I see her saying Bet on Black, and you see Roland Martin. Roland Martin said, "Is it Black owned?" Now, when did this conversation start? Because I never heard these people talking like this beforehand, and now all of a sudden everybody's, it got to be Black owned. You got to bet on Black. Like they never was saying this before, and like it's like their ideology is being flipped 160, and they're trying to create a new person. Like this is what they're pretty much saying, like Roland Martin. I always say they got to be doing what's in the interest of Black people. That's what Roland Martin says now. But
they're trying to come with that new Black media adjacent, bro. Like that's exactly what you're talking about right there.
You know what I'm saying? Like Roland Martin never was one of these, I wouldn't even call him pro-Black right now. He was never one of these people that said, isn't in Black people's interest. He used to say the Democrats are good for the Blacks. That used to be his sentence. Now it has to be Black owned. Do please.
Right. No, that's big facts. That's big facts. Look, Shatera said it. Shatera said it's she said it's academic shame, blame, and explain. Yo, is it academic SBE? If it's academic SBE, give me a thumbs up. If it's not, give me a thumbs down. And speaking of academic SBE, what about DJ Academic SBE? You know, he got some bugs. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
He need that Norton antivirus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's hard to be free in America
hold on,
as a
my
black
bad,
person
Jay.
when you
My
don't
bad,
own anything.
Go ahead.
You just dropped DJ Academics. I want to say this too. When he went over to the platform, you know, he's exclusively going to be a Rumble now. Roland Martin asked a question: are they is Rumble black first? Now, why don't he ask that question to the Democratic Party, who he's trying to cater us to every freaking year?
Well, I mean, is any damn platform black first?
That's
Except
what I'm
for
saying.
like, what was the name of that shit from back in the day? What was it, Black Planet or something like that? You remember that Facebook shit that came out before like Facebook? What was it called? It was called Black Planet, wasn't it? Y'all too young.
Oh, I never heard of it.
Y'all don't know.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Yeah,
I remember that, but I was too young to get on it, I guess.
But it's a couple platforms that are quote unquote black owned. But I mean, like, is an airline black owned? I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you fly Southwest, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you a coon because you flew Southwest and you didn't fly Soul Plane? Like, what the fuck are we talking about here?
Exactly. You know, and like I would say this, I don't mind DJ Academics getting on that platform because he's trying to compete. I think Roland Martin has an issue if he draws over the people to Rumble. Say he draws, because I think 2% of black people are the audience over there in Rumble. If he draws more people to Rumble and Roland will have to go to Rumble and compete, I don't think he'll be boosted in the algorithm like he is on YouTube. That's what I think his real problem is.
And that's one of the reasons why he's not going to Rumble, because I would not be surprised. I guarantee you, I damn near guarantee you that Roland Martin and a lot of other people have exclusive contracts with YouTube. And that's one of the reasons why you don't see them very active with video and live stream content on other platforms. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
A lot of those people like PewDiePie, a lot of those people, like there's a dude named, damn, I can't think of his name. But a lot of those YouTubers that are really big and advertiser friendly or sponsorship friendly, they have contracts that only allow them to stream on one platform. And I wouldn't be surprised if Roland Martin was one of them. And the thing is, as far as Academics going to Rumble and him asking, is Rumble black first? Academics ain't black first. I mean, like, so for him to try to put a black first requirement on somebody who clearly is not with that is dumb to me. Like, I mean, like that shit is stupid. And Roland Martin needs to, what Roland Martin needs to do is he needs to frame anytime he's in front of a camera the same way that he did when he was debating against that guy on Valuetainment. That's the best performance that I've ever seen Roland Martin do. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever try to use YouTube talking points in real life, because YouTube talking points in real life will get you laughed out of a building. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how I feel, though. You know
you're right, though. You're right.
Like, I think he did a good job on Valuetainment, but that was his best, that was his career high and best performance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he's, aside from that, he's never really been impressive. His debate. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You finish and I'll get off to you.
No, I was just gonna say, like, his debate that he had. Do you remember? I think it was on TV1 against Umar Johnson. Like, it was just kind of weird the way that debate went.
Yeah, you know, I never watched that debate because I didn't know about Umar Johnson when back then. You know, I only found out about him like 4 years ago. But I would say that Roland Martin will only debate people that he know he can beat. And those people at Valuetainment, while they say they have a lot of money, like they offer Tucker Carlson $100 million, I don't believe that. These people are idiots over there. And that's why Roland Martin felt comfortable going over there and debating them.
Yeah, I gotta agree. And I think he did a good job debate. I honestly think Roland Martin exposed him. You know what I'm saying? I honestly think he exposed him in that debate. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's keep it moving. And Grind, I responded to you, bro.
And I mean that with my fiber and my being, and I'm going to prove it to you. My grandfather, Kerry James Williams, had a 4th grade education in Mount Pelier, Louisiana. He then provided for my family with everything they needed by doing 5 things at one time. That man cut hair. He made and sold moonshine. He cut graveyards on the weekend. He also worked a salary job at a feed mill. If you know about that feed mill life, then you know. My point in this is saying this, and then he raised my mother, Gloria, who also did not complete college. She took 2 years at Texas Southern. She said, how much? 50,000. It ain't gonna be that for me. And she pieced out. And she started her own business. She drove the bus. So for all of y'all in the comments, well, my daddy drove a bus. Well, my mama drove a bus. My mother drove a bus as well, y'all. She drove a bus until she acquired a skill set. In her case, it was cosmetology. She drove the bus in the morning, the school bus. She would get off the bus. She would go to Universal Beauty School.
So now, like, here, check this out, right? And like, I've seen some of the people making this point. Well, her mom drove a bus, so she don't have no business saying that she wouldn't date a bus driver. What do y'all think about that as like a talking point or like as an argument? Like, is that a logical argument or is that a good one or what?
I don't know. I don't think it's a good one.
Me neither. I don't think it's a good argument either.
I mean, we're talking about going back, I want to say, what, 30, 40 years when I'm getting some feedback. Hey, we're talking about going back 30, 40 years where being a bus driver was actually one of the main occupations in like a city or, you know, an area where a lot of people are at, you know. But now I think what we see right now is that being a bus driver, while it is, yes, it's a good job, it's a decent job and all that, the pay, I would say the pay doesn't keep up. So while it was a high-paying job back then, it's not a high-paying job right now in most cases. But I wouldn't shame nobody for being a bus driver. And, you know, the living wages back then were, I mean, very fair to people who drove a bus, but not to today. I think that's what she's trying to point out.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I honestly don't feel any kind of way about that comment. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like my thing is like, she says that she doesn't want to date a bus driver. I don't know. Like, do you see what the big uproar is? Like, why that's so offensive? To me, like, people say shit like that all the time. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't understand really what's so special about her saying it.
I think it goes back to, you know, economics, man, because people will relate bus drivers to people who are they're earning a low living wage. So I think it was like people projected that as she's talking about all people who make you know, the bare minimum and they're barely surviving economically.
Yeah, I agree. Now, here's my question. Do you think that she's the only person that has those kind of economic qualifiers on people that she may want to be involved with? Or do you think that a lot of people have those kind of economic qualifiers and they've said them out loud before?
No, I mean, everybody has these type of economic qualifiers, man, because, you know, what she said is pretty much like another woman going on a platform and saying, if you don't make X amount of money a year, don't even look my way. That's equivalent, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, and honestly, like I said, do you see bus drivers like being interested in approaching her? I think that those are like worlds away. I don't really see the crossover there that would occur anyway. I mean, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always like a Cinderella story, but I think the likelihood of that is very low. You know what I mean? That's like, say for instance, like, you know, like say somebody date Bill Gates. Well, you're probably not gonna see Bill Gates because he's in his satellite coming up with you know, some interesting things to put in syringes. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know what I mean? Like, it's something to say and it's something to throw out here, but in the end, like, who cares? I guess is the point. And I think that is interesting. Why do you think that so many people are focused on it? Like, man, this shit went viral like crazy.
Man, like I said before, I think they're focused on it because they're looking at the money side, the economic side. She's pretty much, I mean, there's a lot of people struggling, and there's gonna be a lot more people struggling because I heard that student loan, what is that? Where you don't have to pay. That's about to come up, so there's gonna be even more people struggling. So I think she took a shot at the struggling people in society, and that's who's reacting to this. I mean, she might have said bus drivers, but she was talking about more than just bus drivers, and that's why I think a lot of people are upset about this. That's in my opinion, though.
Now, here's my question. Do you think that there's more women than just her that share these kind of sentiments?
Yeah.
Do you think that those sentiments are justified, or do you think that they should reconsider, or they should roll them back? Or here's my question. Has anybody interviewed a bus driver to has anybody interviewed a bus driver to see how the bus driver felt about this kind of thing? Or, you know what I'm saying?
That'd be nice. I mean, they should have brought a bus driver on.
Yeah, I think that would have been pretty good. That'd have been pretty interesting. You know
I'm pretty sure the bus driver wouldn't care.
Yeah, I don't think the bus driver would care.
You know, he might reverse it and say, why should I date you? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, a lot of times is the dynamic is a little bit more complicated than we give credit for. You know what I'm saying? And here's another question. How many of these people that are making these videos, like a lot of the content creators, how many of them do you think are bus drivers, or even how many of them do you think are in these kind of income levels as to where somebody would be upset about it? You know what I'm saying?
That's actually a good question. We have to look at the data on that. But I would say, like, going back to your previous question, you asked which type of girls are actually saying this type of stuff. I would say typically the ones that they're not making much money themselves, so they need somebody, a partner, to make more money. I mean, because if a bus driver is making 50,000 and a woman's making 50,000, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. We got to pay for a box of these books, and we got to give her a bus with a bow tie on it to see if we can get her on the podcast and she can answer some of these questions herself. What you think? What's the chances of that? Let's see.
School off of Beta-Ford Road in Charlotte, North Carolina. She would then get back on the bus, drive the afternoon shift. Then she would come check on me, make sure that I was doing what I needed to do. And then she would go drive for UPS. So for those of y'all talking to me like I don't know what a CDL license can do, I helped my mom study for a CDL when I was 9 years old. I promise you I know about that life. My point is this. It's about skills. It is nothing wrong with driving a bus if that is your maximum skill set. I simply want to call Black America up to the excellence that I know we can occupy. I've seen it before. Entrepreneurship is the key to me. That's not just me talking. That's Earl Grave Sr., the founder and visionary of Black.
So now, but here's the thing, right? What? Yeah, oh yeah, I'd definitely be too broke. You know what I'm saying? But now here's my thing. What she's saying right here. How do you guys feel about what she's saying right here? I think that what she's saying right here is true, but I think that it's in bad favor to bring this kind of talking point here into the conversation after you're being called out for specifically saying a specific thing. The question that she was asked was, would you date a bus driver? And the immediate answer was no. And now she's explaining group economics and powernomics to empower the Black community when her question wasn't originally about none of that. Her question was about her dating preferences and if she would date somebody in a particular career. So how it spirals out to all of that. And now this is what kind of explanation she has to give to expand on her point. This is why I said she should have just doubled down and just not even addressed it anymore, because now you're just expanding, and it's to the point where you're not even talking about the original context of what you were talking about, why you wouldn't date a bus driver. Yeah, she's right. Like way in left field now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, she is. She's moving the conversation away from the goalpost, man.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, like all this sounds good, but how come you didn't start the conversation out about this in a way where this is what we were talking about, instead of, no, I'm not going to date a bus driver. And then now you have to go through all of this to justify why you said that you're not going to date a bus driver. I'd have just said, I'm not going to date a bus driver, and kept it moving. Now, to me, like, again, she's diluting what she said, and it's looking like she's not really standing very firmly on her original points. Because again, like, she shouldn't even address this shit. She should have just moved on, buy my book, and shut the hell up.
Yeah, she should have, man. She went from would you date a bus driver to what we need to talk about is being Black entrepreneurs.
Right.
That's what she's trying to do. She's trying to switch it up like that.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so I'm gonna try to pro-Black the conversation to get more ears on it, and it's like you done messed up now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and also she's trying to move the conversation to everything that everybody agrees on. So she went from I'm not going to date a bus driver to we should be Black entrepreneurs, and everybody agrees on that. So she thinks she can bring more people to her side by saying that statement.
Right. Now, here's what I want to know. I want to know how the alumni at her law school, I want to know how they would judge how she's handling this debate.
Like, hey, bro. Hey, I've seen articles where people were lawyers less than a year and lost their license, man, because of the stupid things they were doing.
Yeah.
And people actually question how did they get through law school. So, you know. Speaking of which, I'm going to say this as a side topic. Judge Joe Brown actually called out Clarence Thomas and said that he shouldn't have got through law school because he was failing so hard, but then he did something for somebody and they passed him and all that. So, you know, they can get through these law schools just like you can get through any other school with pretty much not by educational standards, but by who you know and what favors are you doing for them.
Oh yeah, that's facts. That's big facts. Shatira said because blue collar men got in their feelings. You guys think that blue collar men got in their feelings?
Probably so. They're probably all listening to her while they were on the bus because they don't have a car. They said, "What does this say?" She calling me a lowlife? Oh hell nah, man.
That's hilarious.
Bro, they should have just
That's
joined together and said nobody watches the Griot, and they could have ended it right there.
Yo, so check it out. How many dudes you think was riding the bus jumped off at the moment they heard her say this?
Well, I don't think they jumped. I don't think they jumped off because they still need to go home. But they were looking down at the floor, though. I would say that.
Right, man. That's crazy, man. That's wild. You know what I'm saying?
Enterprise. I'm talking about black enterprise, black ownership, and black liberation. And it is important to me. It's in my DNA. It's my personal legacy. Because my mama told me, y'all, nobody will pay you what you will pay you. And this is not about shaming bus drivers. But I want to be clear. If you are driving a bus today, and that is the maximum of your skill set, I love and appreciate it for you. I have to because it's an honest day's living. But I want to tell you the truth. And this is not about hurting feelings or talking down or being an elitist. I need you to know that in 10 years, you may or may not have a job. Because AI. Artificial intelligence. See, this is the part nobody wants to talk about, y'all.
Now, see, here go the thing, because I got to ask the question, like, where's she been at? Because everybody talks about artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Bro, I want to get into another conversation on that because remember, Amazon said they're going to replace most of their drivers with artificial intelligence. Yeah. And not only that, but what's that idiot that's running for president? He's going to become president, that Indian-looking dude.
Joe Biden?
No, well, not that idiot, the other one, the brown dude. The Indian guy.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
That guy.
Torian calls him Vivek ramen noodles.
Well, everybody's gonna be eating ramen noodles in a minute because this guy is talking about abolishing unions. He's talking about abolishing unions, freaking increase our AI, which means a lot of people are gonna be out of jobs. So that means these truck drivers and all that is gonna have to move to another field, and that field is gonna be oversaturated with workers, and they're gonna get paid low. So I mean, that guy's not even good for America.
Yeah, no, I agree. Win Loser Rug says, bruh, if you was a man listening to this, you probably needed to hear it. I've never heard of this chick before. And I actually agree with this part here. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like right here, like this part right here is true. And I honestly do not think that people are taking the proper measures to prepare for the future, because this is going to be one of the most dramatic changes in landscape that we've ever seen. Things are going to be dramatically different in the next 15 to 20 years and possibly before that. And the thing is that people really aren't paying attention to is that AI and artificial intelligence will attack the same employment demographic as immigration.
Yes. And on top of that, Torian did a video yesterday about the worker strikers, the work strike in Hollywood with the writers.
Yeah. It's because of artificial intelligence.
Or artificial. They want to, in their contracts, they want artificial intelligence going to only be a certain percentage of the writing force.
Yeah.
They want to try to hedge their bets against artificial intelligence, which is the thing to do. And I think everybody should be trying to do that, man. This is why I say when it comes to state government and all that stuff, they can actually tell a company how much workforce the artificial intelligence can be.
Listen to this. This is the first time in human history that humans will have to compete with other entities for organism superiority on the planet. We've only ever had to compete with humans. Now you'll be competing with machines with infinite capabilities.
Right. And even construction jobs. I don't know if you saw that robot that does construction jobs.
Oh yeah, and I mean even nanotechnology will be able to do construction.
I seen where they actually had 3D printed an entire house. I don't know if y'all seen that. That's crazy.
Yes. And only millionaires or companies with millions of dollars are going to be able to afford to use that 3D printer.
Yep.
Yeah. And see, this is one of the reasons why, like, I've been trying to talk about these kind of things. But the thing is that it's really difficult to spark the interest in these kind of in these kind of topics.
It really is.
And that's one of the things that me and TD talk about and we joke about on Just Talking, but it's true. one of the reasons that we created that channel is to try to talk about silly shit and then move the silly shit in the direction of talking about serious shit, because you can't ignore the data. You can't ignore the algorithm. People do not want to live in reality. Like, this is real. Like, the shit that she's saying, it may sound bad. It may, you know, people may be upset. Bus drivers may be in their feelings. But the thing is that here's the question. Is she lying about the future, though?
Well, she's not lying about that part. Everything else she's lying about. But that part, she's not lying.
She's trying to sell that book. Don't forget, she's trying to sell that book.
And the thing is, you got to be able to entertain people while giving them information. You know, one thing I think Tariq Nasheed does significantly well on, and a lot of people don't have that element, so people don't want to watch them when they're giving out the real information.
Right. I agree. And then here's my question. Once you get the real information, what are people doing with it?
That's a good question. What do they need to do with it? They need to try to convince their friends, family, you know, what they need to do going forward, you know. I mean, I really can't expand on that one, but I would say if you get that real information, try to spread it out to as many people as you can. Other than that, man, the information, you will know it, but you'll have, like, if you're that one person that knows it, you have another 500 idiots that just playing around, watching Jerry Springer. They have no idea what's going on in the world around them. A lot of people still believe that we're not in a recession just because they watch the news article.
Right. A lot of people don't even know. They don't even know anything was going on financially. They have no idea.
They don't, man. And then who was it? Older people who are retired, they, like, most of the old people who are retired, they get a monthly check or whatever. They're not even worried about a recession because most of the time they're at home. They don't have to worry about all this, but they'll still vote for Democrats.
That's a whole nother.
They're not facing the economic conditions of today.
Yeah, no doubt. So the architect brings up a good point, and anybody that watches my content, you guys know I agree with this 110%. This is what I say all the time. Black people need to take education seriously, get degrees, dominate industries, and move up in power. I mean, I agree with that. Vertical integration. DJ Elmo talks about that in the comment section all the time. Here's my question. Do you all see that being done in a way that's changing the landscape of our reality right now? And if you don't see it like that, then what are some things that people can do to change that dynamic? I think that's an important thing to address. And the thing that's interesting about it is, like, Jay keeps going back to the Democrats, and I got to agree with Jay. If the Democrats care so much, how come they're not addressing anything that we're talking about in here?
Yeah, they don't even address economic conditions. Now, I mean, one thing I never see them talk about is economy. The only thing they talk about when it comes to economics, and one thing I really threw them under the bus for, was we're getting children out of poverty, which wasn't true to begin with. That's the only time they tried to focus on the economic condition. Like, other than that, man, they're not helping unions. They're not helping the everyday American. I'm going to say this: under Trump, the economy was way better. Now we have Joe Biden, and things are just spiking out of control.
I'm going to need David Cotton to put in the timestamp of where we said Republicans are better.
I mean, he's going to have to learn how to spell Republicans, first of all. Or do you mean to feel like that?
He's going to have to learn how to tell the truth, like Tucker Carlson.
Hold up. So, hold up. He said that Republicans are better at the economy. He said, I'm not even debating on who's better at the economy. But obviously, under Joe Biden's, as we live and breathe, it's not doing better.
I'm just going to need him to put in where we said that.
Yeah, I mean, just because I'm throwing Democrats under the bus don't mean I'm a Republican, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a timestamp of where that was said. And if we don't get the timestamp in 2 minutes, ghost him.
I might not have a job in 10
years. They might not. And that's why so I'm glad you're going there, Charlamagne, because this is the part of the conversation that people really are feeling triggered by. We all have to reassess constantly our skill set and how it's applicable today and how it might or might not be applicable tomorrow. So this goes back to everybody in the comments. Well, my daddy drove a bus and he did this and this and he was respectful. And he was a good black man. He was a great black man. I'm sure all the bus drivers are saints and none of them cheat and none of them beat women and they all are just God-fearing men that show up and in this world. I believe.
Okay, we had to make sure. David Cotton said, I didn't say you, but this dude is speaking trash, stating that the alternative is better. I don't think he said the alternative was better.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that the Republicans are better. I'm just saying that the Democrats are trash.
I actually think that what's happening with you, David, is that you're probably like an older guy and you're in your feelings because people are talking shit about the Democrats.
What?
Here's the reality of things. The Democrats they suck. They haven't done anything for black people at all. And the reality is that the other parties aren't going to do anything for black people. And my question for us is, why are we making other people rich and not making ourselves rich? Everybody that's an old person, you all had your entire life to make other black millionaires and billionaires, and you have failed to do that. And my question is why? Because that's the generation of we're going to go across town to go buy some products.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this too. I don't do Democrats, I don't do Republican, I do third party right now, man. But they control the system right now, unfortunately, because of the bad decision of past generations, just allowing these two parties to run rampant.
Yeah, and they still not doing anything with their power except for making AAPI hate crime bills and what else? LGBTQ hate crime bills, giving billions of dollars to Ukraine.
I can ask a question too.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
David, has your economic position, micro, talking about yourself or your family, has it gotten better since Trump left or worse since Trump left? Or is it the same? Because I know mine gotten worse since Trump left. I mean, when the gas prices were out of control, bro, I was spending like
40-year high inflation.
Yes, man. Eggs, I mean, out of control, egg prices, grocery prices, missing product.
So now David says, what I'm stating is who has a seat at the table. The other party only seats Toms talking against voting rights in our history. And I would agree with you, but here's my thing, right? Who gives the Democrats and the Republicans their power? In most cases, it's lobbyists, right? And those lobbyists come from other businesses, right? But the past generation has been telling people, the younger generation, to go get a job instead of actually building businesses so we can create think tanks and our own businesses and create our own lobbies and take over local politics and put people in certain positions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the older generation that wasn't interested in those things. They were interested in working for a white company and voting Democrat. And what has that done? It's widened the racial wealth gap is what it's done. You know what I'm saying?
And I would say on that statement right there, I agree with you. They do have a lot of Toms on their side of the table, but the Democrats, they're like that friend that pats you on the back while stabbing you in the back. While the Republicans on the other end, they'll just go tell you to F off.
And my question is, why are we not developing our own candidates and our own political talking points and coming up with a think tank? You know what I'm saying? Like we don't do it. We tend to not do anything like how other groups of people do politics. Like there's traditional politics, right? And go ahead.
Oh, and I was also saying one thing I think that black people need to do. There's a lot of our organizations that the Democrats has their hands into when it comes to the NAACP, when it comes to a lot of these so-called black organizations like Black Lives Matter. We see Patrice. I would advise all black people to look into your economic chambers of commerce in your city or your counties or whatever. Because I know Houston has a black chambers of commerce or whatever. I forgot the name of it, but we have one. I would say look into what they're doing and see if you can join in, or you can at least see what they have going on. Because sometimes they actually offer opportunities for specific. Because it's we have the Latino commerce of chambers, we have the black commerce of chambers, and all that. They will offer special opportunities for you guys to start a business or something,
Yeah, no doubt. I agree, Jay. And shout out to my man CP, the artist. And yeah, you absolutely can get on the panel whenever you want to, bro. I actually told Grind it would be cool if you hopped on one day. So I don't know if you're free right now. If you're free right now, I could shoot the link to you. You know what I'm saying? If not, next time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, I agree, Jay. And I think that people need to re-look at how we do politics. To me, like there's just been a lot of goofiness, backwards moving. People are sensitive as all hell, and you can't get anything done in that kind of environment.
Right. And David, I see your comment, and the worldwide COVID epidemic. That's starting to become a Democrat talking point. And
the worldwide epidemic is called C-19. It started in 2019. What about every year before 2019? And it's now 2023. You know what I'm saying?
It's starting to become That's starting to become a Democrat talking point. Because I don't even see Republicans using that no more. While we're still like economically economically doing worse off right now.
Right. Shout out to Shatera. Shatera says, I'm well versed in all forms of SBE. So my question for Shatera is, if we talk about C19 in terms of politics, is that chronological SBE?
Oh, and let me point out this. Another thing that, like I said, with the the writer strike, we have Democrats and Republicans helping these companies lower the power in the finances of the workers. As that strike that's happening over there in Hollywood, one of the CEOs made what 250 million last year or something like that. He don't need that much money. You could get that to the workers, but because of the politicians that's in place over there, and I'm pretty sure they're all Democrats over there in LA, they're allowing them to do that. I mean, because they can write laws to kind of like divert that.
Yeah, no doubt. And another thing that's going on is that during C19, all of those billionaires damn near doubled their wealth, while a lot of mom and pop businesses and business owners and even people who were employed at regular 9-to-5 jobs, their wealth decreased. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. Yeah, and those stimulus checks, man, we paid that back in full. So that's not even an excuse anymore.
Right. So I'm dropping a link in the chat for CP the artist, or if there's anybody else that wants to come in, you guys can. All right. Make sure if you do come in that you follow the community guidelines. Don't talk over anybody. Everybody got to be cordial. You know how that goes. You know what I'm saying? If you are disrespectful, you're not following community guidelines, or you're just being rude to the panel or to the people in the comment section, you're getting removed without warning, and then the mods ghost you in the chat. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, hey, and Cameron Jones, he actually a good question right there. If you can put that on the screen.
Let me see, Cameron.
Yeah, he asked a good question.
Oh, why are housing prices so high? Okay, yeah, go for it, bro.
Let me tell you what's going over here in Houston, Texas, man. So I don't know if you heard about what's happening over here. They gave a lot of the properties over to the city, and the cities are now developing in lower neighborhoods. They're developing more houses in lower neighborhoods. So what they're doing is they're putting two houses where that one house used to be. And like, say if that one house used to cost $80,000, they knocked that $80,000 house down. They put two properties on that one house, cut the property in half, and now those properties are like 120. So they're still going up on the prices of the house unjustifiably, in my opinion, because people couldn't afford that one house. Now you're just putting more properties down, but people can't afford them. The Houston Chronicle actually wrote about this. How do Houston have more houses than we did 5 years ago, but there are less homeowners because they're giving that to private companies, man.
Right. For profit.
They're gentrifying the areas.
And another thing that I'm telling you, they manipulate the crime and they manipulate the crime numbers. And that's one of the reasons that they do that, because crime does what to property value?
It devalues them.
It devalues it, right? So then once you let crime get out of control in certain areas, then the corporate interest can come in and do what? They can do the exact same thing that you just described is going on in Houston. All right, I'm gonna run this real quick.
At all, but I'm saying
no, that's the narrative. It's sarcasm. That's the narrative. And all people that dare to own, that dare to advance a skill set in a different kind of way, not a better way or a worse way, a different kind of way, they all have full-blown AIDS, beat their wives, and will die alone. That's the narrative.
What Tyler Perry movie is this?
That's what I'm saying.
It's temptation.
It's very Tyler Perry.
But Ebony, what about the bus drivers that their goal was to own a home? And what if they came from something that necessarily wasn't the best education, and driving the bus is
I think we got to broaden the conversation. I think we keep using words like bus drivers.
This is what bothers me, to make it seem like bus drivers only drive.
Why would you talk about bus drivers?
We could talk police officers. We could talk MTA workers. We could talk all these different people that work at these quote unquote average jobs.
Everyday working class people.
Now, this is my problem, right? Yes. Now, I do real estate and I do these seminars all across the country, right? We get thousands of people. The majority of people.
Oh, hold on real quick. Yo, I put the link into the chat. CP, you didn't get it. I'm gonna put it in here one more time real quick. All right, let me see. You guys haven't smashed the like button, make sure you guys smash the like button. And also, if you guys haven't shared the stream out, make sure you guys share it to your social media. All right, hold on. Here it comes right now. All right, there you go. All right, let me know, CP, if you see the link. It should be. Oh, you know what? Are you over on Grinds? Ah, yeah, you're in Grinds chat. You got to come over to REACTZ. It's putting the link into Grind's chat. So just find REACTZ podcast on YouTube, and the StreamYard link is in there, bro.
Let own homes and investment homes, all your quote unquote average workers, all your bus drivers, all your MTA workers. So they just don't drive buses. They have properties. They have, I know a police officer that drives Ferraris because it's not from his police job. It's from the houses that he owns that he made off the police job.
You sure it's not from the cocaine?
I'm 1,000%. No, I'm 1,000%. He has more properties than you, me, and Charlamagne put together. That's who he is. That's a joke. But they take it serious. But I know these people that do it, and they put in hard work. So when you say,
hey, so I don't. So okay, so Shatera said that is a lot of the middle class guys that are triggered, right? But it seems like DJ Envy is really triggered by this. What's the background behind why he's triggered by this? I know one of y'all know, Bronze or Jay. What's going on? What's up with DJ Envy?
I actually don't know nothing about the DJ Envy. Nothing positive, man. I don't focus on it like that. Hey, did you notice that he said that cop owns more property than him and Charlamagne put together? Now, what does this cop work at, man? I need to go get a job over there.
One of them corrupt cops, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? One of them cops that been going up in the evidence room taking out deposits like it's an ATM machine or something.
He going in the evidence room looking for investments.
Yeah. Oh, so the lovely Sherry says that his father was a cop. Oh, okay. Cameron said Eric Adams. That's a good one. That's definitely a good one. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got CP the artist on the stream. What's up with it, bro? Welcome to the stream.
Yo, hold on.
Yeah, and I had just had Grind and Motivate's channel up there. Make sure y'all go over there and subscribe to Grind and Motivate. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dre D. What's good with it, bro? All right, I'm about to run this. When you guys want me to stop it, let me know.
Said I wouldn't date a bus driver unless he owned his own bus. A lot of people felt it like, yo, that's disrespectful because I took a job. And a lot of people take those jobs for a couple of different reasons. One, the benefits, right? They know they can work for 20 years. After 20 years, they can retire and they still get their retirement and they still get their benefits. So after 20 years, they can. Most police officers, the same thing. They get their retirement, they can still carry their firearm, and they can still get their benefits. So I look at it as that's a great hustle. They work for 20 years. At the end of 20 years, let's say they start at 21. At 41, they done working in the bus company, done being a police officer, done being MTA, and now they're just making money on top of money. So it's value over values, right?
Envy, let me stop you right there.
It's not.
Do you think for 1 second, and I know you don't know me that well,
Correct.
we've had enough conversation. I had you on Revolt Black News. You talked to me about your father who was a leader in law. Do you think for 1 second I'm about to push back on anything you just offered in that statement?
You can.
Right. So I cannot. And so what I'm telling you is what you're applying now is not the facts as they were given to me. Ayala did not ask me, Ebony, would you date a bus driver that also had a real estate portfolio? Ayala did not ask me. Hold on now. Ebony, would you date a bus driver that also has a litany of franchises? Because you and your wife just bought 5, right? Six Crystals? Crystal Burgers. Okay. She didn't ask. That was not the framing of the question, Envy. Had that been the framing of the question, I would have said, Dr. Bonds, where the fuck he at?
So did the man the properties that I own, or do you get to know that man and see what he's about?
But see, that's semantics now.
Here's the thing. Y'all didn't listen to the whole Ayanla interview.
Go ahead, Char.
Ebony actually agreed with Ayanla. That was confusing me because you actually agreed with Ayanla when she talked about, you should be open to dating a bus driver. You can build with a bus driver. You actually agreed with that. So that was confusing me.
You agreed with Ayanla, then also conflated more and said a loving man, someone that loves what they does. There was a whole lot of other things. So she agreed that, of course, I want a loving man. I want a man that's passionate. I want a man with a plan. All the other things that came after the bus driver is what Ebony agreed to.
Yeah, so I say, why let the griot put out a clip that is more salacious and out of context when you actually did agree with
I'm not going to throw the griot under the bus.
I'm not going to throw the griot under the bus. I told you it's all about that damn book. And shout out to CP. We got CP back. What's good with it, bro?
Could you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you guys hear him okay on the panel?
Yeah, he good.
Yeah, because it just looks like I'm still in the green room.
Oh,
anyway,
no, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. I think the main problem is a systematic thing that has been happening over the last 50 years. You see, there's nothing wrong, I believe, with a black man, whether he wants to go to college, whether he wants to do a trade, XYZ. Every man is built for different things. There's some men that are not built for college. There's some men that are built for college. I went to college. I also went to a vocational school. I ended up being an artist. Black men are not monolithic. So I believe that this argument is kind of like three-sided in a way, where if you're a man and you're a bus driver or you're an artist or you're YouTube, whatever, you have to find love in your field of expertise. I said this on We Need to Talk on Friday. Shout out to Alan. Ehoni K. Williams will never, ever get hollered at by me, because she is not my type. My type is in my area of expertise. I think that us Black people as a whole, we are creative. The only thing that we need is to take care of our equity, our intellectual property, and like our fellow Americans, whatever, they profit off of our equity and our our intellectual property. I think that once we start keeping money in our own, that's when we will see changes, and that's when we will see economic growth. Whether you're a barber, whether you're a bus driver, whether you're a rapper, whether you're an artist, whether you're the president, CEO, Black money has to stay with Black people. That's my take.
That's a good take. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with that. You got to, I mean, like you said, it doesn't matter what field you're in. If you can utilize that field, use it, technology around us today to, like a lot of artists, like you, I don't know what type of artwork you're in, but people sell their stuff and they display their stuff on the internet. If you can utilize the field around you, technology around you, and do your thing, you could be phenomenal in any industry. I mean, the wealthiest person in the world right now is an investor, not the smartest guy in the world, but an investor.
So I got.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that
Go ahead,
because you guys was talking about real estate. I bought my home that I'm living in now right at the start of the pandemic. Okay, I bought it in a old Black subdivision in Lithonia, Georgia. Okay, there was a trap house right across the street. Okay, there's 3 people that surround, no, sorry, 4 houses that surround my house that they rent, and a few homes owned by older Black people that been around for 60 odd years, right? What I did was I regentrified it my own area. I think the thing is this. I understand what you're saying, what you guys are saying about how there's, you got redlining, you have people who bring down the value of homes. If they bring down the value of homes, and I don't even want to say on air how much I paid for this house, okay? It was very cheap, okay? But it's a beautiful house, quiet neighborhood, and everything that, despite what I just told you, okay?
Right.
What I did, but once I stood it for 3 years now, the equity has gone up 100,000. So if they kick me out, I'm still 100,000 up. And I think the thing is that yes, there is a game, and it's an ugly game that all Americans got to deal with. But if we play the game, start going and reinvesting in our own neighborhoods, by getting that cheap real estate that you talked about earlier and turn that into because let's not act like Black people don't profit too from buying real estate. We do. A lot of us, like especially in the Atlanta area, are real estate owners, real estate entrepreneurs. That's my take.
No, I agree with that though. Like you're in the Atlanta area, I'm over here in the Houston area. I think my issue was with the city council actually giving the contract over to a private company. That private company took ownership over, I think like what was it like I think it was like almost 200 abandoned houses. Then they took them properties, divided it in half, built 2 houses where 1 house used to be. That's why I had the problem with. So I had an issue with them giving, that's why I say local politics matter, man, from what they did. But what you just said actually reminds me of something my some dude I used to work with. He was older. He was like 20 years older than me. He said that he went into a neighborhood. It was a poor neighborhood. It was where the where the dead end of the street is. He bought that house. 2 years later, he brought the house across from him, and he actually brought like 7 houses on that street. So what you said is actually good. Buy the property low, redevelop that whole. You can redevelop that area if you want to, if you have that money in that time in that investment capital, and you can control that street, or you can control that. Start controlling some of the prices over there in the neighborhood. But we're talking about if you do it in your area, if you can get like 10 more people doing that, and you guys can control that area, that would be nice, man. I would say that. But you still
Bro,
gotta focus on. Oh, you still
I
gotta
agree.
focus on the local politics because even if you got say even if you own like 50 houses, the politicians can do something stupid where they can increase your taxes or something like that. That's why local politics is important as well.
Now, I got a question for both of you guys, and this question is for everybody in the comment section. And I know this question about to start some shit, so let's get it popping. You know what I'm saying? I forget who it was. I think it was Sherry. Let me just see real quick. I think it was Sherry. Yeah. Okay. So Sherry said he's saying everything Ebony just said, right? So now I do agree that there's a lot of similarities between the stuff that Ebony said and what CP said. And honestly, I think there's a lot of similarities to what Ebony said versus what we've all been saying as we've been watching this. Do you all think that there is an issue with people not accepting listening to stuff like this when it's coming from a woman versus if people hear this kind of stuff and it's coming from a man? If people hear these kind of critiques and they're coming from a woman, are people in general more quick to reject it than if these kind of critiques come from a man? What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean,
why is that?
Even the girliest of all men will get more respect than a woman. I'm gonna say it like that, man.
Now, here's my question: why is that?
I don't know if people agreed or disagreed, but I got a lot of flack for and when I talk to my brothers like you guys about reinvesting, I get pushback. You know, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. Blah blah blah. I don't know when it started where we thought that progression. Well, some of us. I want to caveat by saying some of us. Some of us believe that upward progression, living the American dream, is synonymous with whiteness, when it never was. When we left, well, not when we left, but we're still going through some type of systematic, slavery. But when we had the chance to buy our own homes and create our own community, we were thriving. Our great grandparents or our grandparents, they were thriving. They got married, they took care of the kids, they owned a home, so forth and so on. And then when the metro centers like New York City, Atlanta started building up apartment buildings, and there was redlining and all of other stuff, we got into this mentality of, okay, I'm in this project mindset, and this is all it's going to be. I have family member. I have a family member that was, using government assistance, and I was like, yo, you're in a bad situation, so forth and so on. You could have a land. You could, if you come down to Georgia. Oh no, I don't believe in that. Oh, da, 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 da. I was like, okay, you could pay a $700 a month mortgage versus paying $1,800 in rent. Make that make sense? It doesn't make sense. So I think the thing is, it's also the mentality has to change, that we can't do better. I think when she talks, it sounds like white supremacy, right? It sounds like white supremacy. If you ever talk to, no, not talk to, but listen to, what's that brother's name? Dr. George Fraser, right? He talks about Black economical wealth and how to obtain that. But no one ever heard of George Fraser. They heard Dr. George Fraser. No one hears that because it's not how should I put it? It's not the thought process that aligns with what we are already be thinking. If you believe you could achieve, you know what I mean? And that's why I was like, you know what? It's a pandemic. I always wanted a house. I'm getting out this freaking apartment and I'm going into the hood, and it was the best decision I ever made. So I think it's just that people have to see it to believe it.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think one of the things that's underrated, that's also very important, is that you have to have follow through, because like one of the main reasons why you were able to accomplish what you accomplished was because you didn't sit on your idea. You actually did it. You actually pulled the trigger. I think a lot of times there's issues with people talking about these kind of things, and then unfortunately a lot of times they kind of are allowed to just fizzle out and they're never acted on. And I think acting on these kind of things are imperative, and a lot of times there's a failure to execute. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, who's that says if you have 5 broke friends, you're gonna make number 6, right?
That's funny.
Yeah, and I remember when I was living in corporate America, I used to always pick up the New York Post. I'm from Jersey. I used to go pick up the New York Post, and a brother came, tall brother. He looked like Stedman Graham, Oprah's BFF or boyfriend, whatever. He came in with his car, saw me looking at the New York Post because I'm a Knicks fan. It's like whatever at the newsstand. He took it out of my hand, threw it down, and handed me the Wall Street Journal. He says, "Young black man, if you want your life to be better, you got to start reading this, not that." I didn't know him from Adam, right? And I was like, who is he to judge me, and so forth and so on, right? But then but later on, I will never forget him, and I'll never forget the path that I was supposed to be on.
Right?
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100%. And go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to address somebody said in the chat. He said, it was Tony, I believe, said everyone can do that. Yeah, I agree. Because the economic condition. I would say another option would be going on off what he just said. Get together with a group of people. If you guys want to invest, be small investors in say if you guys want to create your own LLC, and you all want to invest in like 1 property or 3 properties and start turning those into instruments of investment. That's another good idea, man.
Can I answer his question though, real quick?
Oh,
all right. So now I got to be vulnerable. Okay.
Which question is it? So I can
the guy that said not everybody could do that. Look,
Tony.
the government has a FHA loan. FHA loans, you could put down 3% on any house if you're a first-time home loan buyer. Now, it will take sacrifice. It will take adjustments. It will take, saving up, maybe working the extra. I'm not a millionaire. I never was a millionaire. I never made over the average. I'm not a millionaire, but what I did was I sacrificed to get what I wanted. And I think the thing is that when you hold on to a dream, and let me tell you something, it was hard. I searched for a house for 2 years because, like your brothers were saying, there was corporate. Like I would go to a house, yeah, let's put an offer on this. By the time we got the paperwork ready to put the offer on it, it was sold by no, it was bought by Zillow or some other company. So they could rent it out, and then the process would go over and over again. But I didn't stop trying. Like, yeah, we could say, look. I'm not gonna be long-winded. I'll just end my take like this. Nas said, as long as money is printed, there's chances are getting it to get it. I messed up that verse, but you can look it up. But as long as they're printing it, there's chances of getting it. So as long as they printing money, there's chances to get it.
Right. And I would throw on this too. Like I said previously, I would say instead of like a lot of black people, we get up and we watch something like The Breakfast Club in the morning. We should be getting up and watching something to advance ourselves. You don't have to watch it forever in a day. Just get up 30 minutes, listening to this, be educated on finances. But I still think that one of the smartest ways to do, especially if you're in a low income, get with some other people. Start an investment group and invest in houses, invest in buildings, invest in stuff. It might take you guys, say if you guys get together, it might take you guys a year to pull some money together and then start investing. But you got to have the right mind and where you want to be at down the road. That's all I want to know right there.
Well, and another thing is, my thing is too, like about the think tanks, right? Like I think that I constantly stress the importance of think tanks and getting information. And I think that one thing that would be very helpful is if people look at the most lucrative types of businesses that people can get into using a network, the most profitable, the easiest barriers to entry, do studies on that, and then set up workshops to help people integrate and get into those businesses easier. I think a lot of the barrier of entry into a lot of these things is a lack of knowledge, a lack of understanding, a lack of application knowledge, and a lack of mentorship, and a lack of networking as well. Like, one of the things that I've always said is that we need to set up our own, like, our OGs should be a good old boy network. Like, look at the OGs that other groups of people have. They got Bloomberg, Charles Icahn, Warren Buffett. Those are OGs. You know what I'm saying? But they're not OGs like in the street sense. Those is OG legacy wealth building people. We don't really have people that can be at that echelon and then reach back in and cultivate new people to generate money, generate revenue, obtain assets, and take over economies like that. Once you've taken over and you control the flow and direction of money, now we can implement all of those consequences and different things like that that people talk about, of quote unquote why we're powerless. One of the issues that I have with a lot of commentary that people do on social media is because people always like to say what we can't do and what we aren't, and like we're powerless and this, that, and the other. And the thing is that people are just banking on remaining powerless instead of actually trying to dominate the world. And what I talk about on my channel is world domination. You know what I'm saying? Like, dominating the world first by dominating economic sectors, then getting resources and expanding and getting as many resources as you can, and then weaponizing your influence if you need to in order to attack or to get more resources. And that may sound crude and it may sound, you know, not like it's very nice, but the world's not very nice.
Right. And I think another thing is you speaking of power, what they're promoting to black people as power. Like, if you look at the Congressional Black Caucus, if you go to their screen where it talks about economic justice, they're talking about economic justice is voting power. That's not power.
That's not.
So that's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. They're accusing everybody else of putting out misinformation when they're putting out blatant detriment. We have a racial wealth gap that's widening, that'll be at 0 in 2053, and you have Democrats putting out information saying that a vote is economic power. I want to ask you guys something in the comment section. Is a vote economic power? If you guys agree with that statement, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. Right now, the Democrats should always have the little embedded message about misinformation when they say nonsense like that, because we know that that's nonsense, right? But if we say that there could be some adverse effects to certain jabs that you might get, the Democrats and the tech companies will be all over your social media content that you put in. Why is that?
That is true. And another thing, one more thing, because we keep on getting back to the subject of, and you know, shout out to black women for being the most educated, but a degree doesn't also increases your, a degree is not going to be directly related to your power if you don't know how to utilize that field. Like you said, one thing you can do as a, I don't know how all the fields are, but like say if you get a finance degree and you want to just go up and start your own little financial services online. Or say if you have, I don't know how psychology works, but can you just get a degree in psychology and start doing something online? What I'm saying is, if they're going to have these degrees, they got to weaponize these degrees and to move towards power. Not by just trying to go get a job where you're going to work below your average salary, pretty much, until they say that, okay, now you have the experience and now you can start making the money, because then they'll be losing wealth over time. But you got to take advantage of your degrees, because like I said, black women they're the most educated, but they're in the most student debt. So that debt is hanging over their heads, unfortunately.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
To answer that question, does voting give economic power? It does, to whoever you're voting for. Because that.
You guys go ahead. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah, because voting is not to help you. It's to help businessmen, entrepreneurs, and whomever wants more world domination. It's not like I stopped voting. Well, actually, I voted in the last election. I don't know why. I should have stuck to my morals. But anyway, I haven't. But before that, I hadn't voted in 12 years. And people will give me hell. Oh, why don't you vote? It's because I know what the candidates are standing for. If I know what they're standing for, why am I voting? Oh, it could be worse. You see, they put this fear in your heart.
Right.
It's a sales tactic,
It
right?
is
Like,
marketing.
you ever heard of limited time only? Like, a limited time only offer puts fear in the consumer's mind that if I don't do this, I'm going to pay a consequence later. So when they tell you this is the biggest election of your life, it's mind control. It's social engineering.
It is.
That when you turn on the television and you hear these messages on YouTube, that's why I got YouTube Premium. The only reason I got YouTube Premium was because I was sick of every 5 minutes seeing XYZ candidate come up on my interrupting my freaking enjoyment of watching a video talking about this is the biggest and this is the election of your life. You will die. This is every single time. What happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, every election is the election of our life.
Facts.
Right. And Val, Dr. D, you guys are right. There's no power in voting. Voting doesn't give you any power. Now, what will give you power is focusing on your economic conditions and making the right moves. Now, over here in Houston, Sheila Jackson Lee, what is her plan? You know what her plan is? If you guys been keeping up.
Nah, go ahead.
Her plan, and this has been in almost every headline. She's going to be the first Black woman of Houston. Wow.
You see, that's why I didn't know that was the damn economic plan, because that's not no damn economic plan.
That was the same thing. That was the same thing with Stacey Abrams here in Georgia.
Yeah,
they pushing that, man. They really pushing it because they know Black voters will get out and vote for symbolism, man. And that's sad.
Well, not only that. It's usually the Democratic platform where you have because the majority of Democratic voters that come out are women, and we also have Black people. So when you have a Black woman, it solidifies their base, and so that's why they're pushing more and more and more Black women. I have no problems with Black women. I just want someone that's qualified. That's how. It's funny, right? It's funny, right? Kamala Harris, and I lost friends over my take. If you look at Kamala Harris's record in the state of California and what she did to families, if she was a white woman or a white man, and I'm not caping for no white man, whatever, don't get me twisted, but I'm saying the optics changes. I look at what a person does, because if you do some foul stuff to me, I don't care what color you are, whatever, you are not going to get my support. So when you see her record, what she did, it was totally, oh boy, you can't. She's a Black woman. She's a Black woman. She's a Black woman. It's like, but she's not the right Black woman. Like Ehoni K. Williams.
And on top of that, not only speaking of what she did to families, but remember, she kept people in prison longer than what they were supposed to be, because why? They needed more people fighting those fires. They needed more people instead of offering them a job with the fire department once they got out of jail, which I think they should have been able to do because they got experience in jail fighting fires. They kept people in jail past their time because they needed more people to fight fires, which is completely unfair.
Yeah, I agree. And shout out to Carla for answering Stream Labs and Stream Elements. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, also, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment and smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, make sure you guys hit the bell. Help your boy out. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs, y'all. Share the video. We don't have much more to go. We at 633. So if you ghost watching, stop being scared. You know what I'm saying? Share the stream, hit the bell. And y'all want to get back into it? You want to get back into this?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh yeah, I'm here for it.
All right, bet.
what I did there. But what I am going to do, what I am going to do is say that we know the business that we are in. So you said something, Charlamagne, on the show yesterday. We're like, we're entertainers, and we have to not over index for our. Okay, so I want to be clear. My beloved, oh my God, I'm actually not an entertainer. I'm not. I'm an educator. I'm an advocate. I happen to use the form of television, radio, and podcasting to do my work. See, we can't conflate platform with purpose. So why did the Griot and the brilliant, talented team of journalists over there decide to use the bus driver clip, which is sensational and controversial? Because let's be honest, the Griot is not getting the eyeballs the Breakfast Club is getting. Revolt Black News is not getting the eyeballs the Breakfast Club is getting, or the View is getting, or the Talk used to get.
Now, here's the question, though. Is she going to be honest about the reason why the Griot in particular isn't getting the kind of views? Because, you know, like, let's just keep it a buck. I'm not even going to try to toot my own horn or anything here. But my tiny little network of YouTube channels gets more watch hours and more views than the Griot. And like, I'm not a huge, amazing, or great YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? So like, they're doing something very wrong there. And either they're not acknowledging it or they're just not recognizing it. But I want to ask you guys in the comment section, as well as you all on the panel, first of all, do you think that she's going to be honest about the reason why the Griot's not getting the eyeballs that they would like it to get? And I want to know why you guys think it's not getting the eyeballs that it should get.
Who's going first?
So I think you just volunteered yourself, CP.
Okay. I want to be polite. I used to see the Griot on my Facebook timeline. And I used to disagree with all their slants. I felt like the reporting wasn't real reporting. So I really didn't, invest in the Griot. I feel like there should be a balanced perspective where you're not weaponizing people's emotions. And media does that a lot. Where they weaponize emotions. Now, the entertainment aspect of it, I think that media should not solely worry about entertainment, the views. I know this is a revenue-based, platform. Most of us are in it for the revenue. We don't work hard on our channels, for free. We want a monetization to come from it. But do you want to be BET, where you're giving your audience candy instead of fruits and vegetables? That is unfortunate that us as a society in general, it's not just Black people, it's freaking Jerry Springer's death was more popular than Harry Belafonte's death. Let's let that sink in.
Oh, I believe it. I'm not shocked by that.
And it's right, and it's like that's just human. That's American culture.
Yeah.
It's a Western thing.
Yeah, facts. What you got to say, Jay?
Oh no, nothing. On top of that, he's right.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100% with CP. If you guys in the comment section agree with CP, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down.
Because the nature of not just Black culture, of American culture, is entertainment first. So when you start doing the work of educating around where artificial intelligence is taking the culture, where you start doing the work about where criminal justice reform, how this summer, the U.S. Supreme Court, y'all, affirmative action, as we all know, that shit is gone. Know that. But no one is going to watch in the volume that we need to have the impact that I seek as a teacher in this world, Charlamagne, if we don't put out that clickbait.
Now, I'm not mad at what she just said right there. And that's exactly what I was saying earlier in the stream about what me and TD were doing with Just Talking. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got the architect who just called in. Shout out to the architect. What's good with it?
Hi there. Good morning or afternoon. I'm not sure where you're located.
Morning. Hi, good morning. It's still
Hi.
11.
Good morning.
So I wanted to. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's lunchtime here. It's noon.
It's morning where I'm located. So I wanted to speak real quick about the issues that us as Black professionals face, especially when we graduate from universities or colleges.
Oh yeah.
So what I've noticed, and I've been in my industry for a very long time, is when we graduate, other people, or even before we graduate, even people who drop out or whatever, who are not Black, they have family friends, they have family members, they have a friend of a family who will hire them because they look like them. It doesn't matter if they're qualified, but they'll be given opportunities over other people who look different from them. What I've seen is that us as Black people, when we graduate and we're going out there, it's a stark reality that when we go out there, we don't have that same privilege. We're going out there, and if we're not entrepreneurial from the get-go, then what happens is we end up with a degree and no job, because people would rather hire other people who look like them over people who look like us.
Right.
So that's where we have an issue in terms of ownership. The problem that I've seen is that there aren't enough Black ownership out there in many different industries. The few where they are, I've seen where other Black people will take on apprentices and train them, and then they can move on forward. And I've seen that with restaurants that are Black owned, or say grocery stores that are Black owned, or I've also seen that with like mechanic shops and body shops that are Black owned. But in terms of to go out in any industry, if there's like a private practice for law, a lawyer who's a graduate, they'd have a better chance going to seeking employment with the government than going into a private firm, because of the policies in place for governments when it comes to hiring practices versus private practices, where they're going to be hiring people who look like them, who they know their family members, or they are the family members. And I think that has done a disservice, regardless of how much we try to move ahead. We are aware that Black women are, of course, the higher educated of the group. And I've seen a lot of that.
Right.
Myself being an architect, I must tell you, my first job that I had in my field was my own business, and that's because none of these white men would hire me. They were hiring their friends' kids.
Well,
So
and
I
a lot of
started my
them,
own company.
and a lot of them go to school with a friend with the plan when they first go to school of starting a business. You have one person that's an accountant and the other person that's an architect, or one person that's an accountant and another person that's an attorney, and they'll go into business together. You know what I'm saying? So not only do they have the network from their family, but they also build networks in school, which I find interesting, because that's one of the things allegedly that these fraternities and sororities are supposed to do. But a lot of times you don't see it materialize like that after graduation. The alumni association that a lot of these colleges and different things like that are supposed to do that. But for whatever reason, it seems like they just repeatedly fail. And I think what the failures of those things should show people is that the only way for us to be able to get the kind of ownership that you're talking about is people need to show an interest in it. And the thing is that a lot of what you've said are things that people have known for a long time. A lot of people on YouTube get a lot of super chats by repeatedly doing streams talking about those kind of things. But my question for you, for everybody on the panel, and for the people in the comment section is, we know these things, we know the remedies, we understand that these situations exist. Why is there a disproportionate amount of action to, the huddles? You know what I mean? To talking about it. Why is it that these things aren't materialized on? And if you don't mind me asking, I'm just curious, what industry are you involved in? You said architecture, right? Is it like commercial or residential, or what are you?
It's both. I do a lot of work with civic and government, commercial. I also have my own company as a supplier. So for me, I had to go into business for myself to gain experience in the industry. And then I move on to other opportunities afterwards. But it wasn't until these other companies see, okay, well, that I'm moving volume out there in the industry, that they came after me to get me into their company.
Right.
Whereas somebody else, I have been told, I remember one time I was told by this white man that there were white guys that were younger than me that did not have the qualifications that I had or the experience, that they would be willing to pay twice as much as what I was asking. And I, of course, I responded with my middle finger. And that's it, was the last time we saw each other. But that's to show you what's out there in terms of like with us as Black women, we don't only face the fact that we're Black, we have to also fight chauvinism and misogyny while we're out there. And also we're out there and we're doing our best to build something so that the next generation of Black graduates and Black people who are moving into the industries, they can have somewhere to work. So that's also one of the things I must applaud with a lot of the Black women who have gone into entrepreneurship. And here's the deal. I know, like, another thing is, yes, a lot of Black women go into entrepreneurship, but it's because we have to do that. We don't have our family and friends or dads hooking us up with jobs. It's either that or we starve.
No, that's interesting because you bring up
That's
a
a
new
fact.
you bring up a new dynamic, and I just want to throw this out here as a question. So, you hear a lot of the talk about like single Black women and stuff like that, and you know what I'm saying, like that whole thing, right? So now I find it interesting, right? So like that generation is there, and those kind of things still take place. But do you think that this whole modern woman thing is an evolution on the single mom, and so now it's turning into, well, I was raising this child by myself, and now what I have to do is create these networks by myself, and I have to sacrifice, XYZ to be able to do these things here. What do you think about that? It's because now that, like, when I'm listening to you and I hear you explain that, it's like interesting, man. This sounds like an which I think is a cancerous evolution, because none of those dynamics should exist. But I think it's like I think it's an interesting evolution along an interesting path, because it still shows like a lot of imbalance. And as far as the imbalance goes, I agree with what you're saying. There needs to be more ownership, but the problem is that there's still the disproportionate issue. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. So in terms of with Black, I would say women as a whole, and I'm not going to single out, say, women who are single or mothers, because I've seen this with women who are child free as well. The thing is that we have to, because we're living a patriarchy, that's first thing. So as women, we have it really hard because of that patriarchy. And
Now,
then,
now let me ask you a question. As far as the patriarchy goes, when it comes
Mhm.
to the quote unquote patriarchy,
Yes,
I've heard a lot of like Black female content creators talk about a quote unquote Black patriarchy, but then in the same sentence they say how Black men don't have any power. Now, when you were talking about the issues that you dealt with on your job, the Good Old Boy Network, these were white people that were white men who were attempting to block you out. So when it
right.
comes to the quote unquote patriarchy, what patriarchy are you talking about in specific, in particular?
Well, I'm going to say this. So patriarchy is white. Black people were like thrown into it because of colonization. Because if you look at our African or
That's not
indigenous,
that's not true. But I'll
okay,
let you
all right. Let
finish.
me let me just wrap. Well, I'll just explain what I mean. You look at indigenous cultures and you look at African cultures and other type of groups, their cultures, they do respect both genders. They have roles for both genders. So the patriarchy that we're seeing now, where women get shut out of decision making and such, that was not a part of, say, African culture where democracy began, because that is where even now you
That's
have
not true either.
democracy where both men and women have equal vote in African societies, and this democracy existed even long before the Greek Empire did. So and then in the indigenous American cultures, the women have a significant role in those cultures. But when you look at white patriarchy, women are treated like they're less than human beings. And that's been the sentiment over the years. It wasn't until 1970 when women were able to own properties without having a husband, or get their credit cards. In general, it was a nightmare before that because of that white patriarchy. I wouldn't even consider, because of how I see patriarchy, I would not consider Black societies, even where men have certain roles, as a patriarchy, because in traditional Black societies, there's respect for either gender roles. Nobody's placed lower than the other one in Black society.
I gotta disagree with you, sis, because I just did a ancestry. I'm looking into my ancestry, and I'm looking into where I came from. My descendants came from the Gold Coast, Congo, Benin, and I was also researching, religious history in Africa. Most of our civilization was like, our governments have been in Africa and mostly around the world was a monarchy. We had kings and we had queens, and they had princes and princesses, and they would get the throne. Haile Selassie, the former emperor of Ethiopia, his family reigned for 3,000 years. So King Solomon's lineage, they were a monarchy, and they did have a female queen. So a patriarchy thing has always been in place since the beginning of history, because men had to physically go out, kill, while the woman took care of home. And it was not that you were lesser than me or I was lesser than you. We were partners. Now, the system that's in today, right? I think that from the last 40 years, when the sexual revolution, or I should say the last 100 years, where women got their right to vote and to work, things had changed where it's like that survival method where, okay, you can make your own money while your husband, can make my own money. I don't have to worry about all the bills being on me. Now, when you say patriarchy, why is it that most women inherently do not want to go 50-50 if you don't believe in a patriarchy?
Well, first of all, I think one thing's missing is the understanding that when women enter in unions with men, they have more to lose. Well, I'll explain what I
to lose,
mean.
like what?
I got divorced. I lost a lot.
Sorry, you're lost.
Respectfully.
Okay, I can explain what I mean by that when I say they have a lot more to lose. Men cannot get pregnant, women can get pregnant. There's something I must explain when it comes to the physiological.
I don't think that has anything to do with having more or less to lose. That's just different biology.
Well, that's fine. I mean, you can think that, but I'll explain to you what I mean.
I mean, but what I said, is that factual? It's different biology?
It's different biology. That is true, yes. However, there's more to it than just different biology. There is also the strength. So in terms of when women are most vulnerable, it's during pregnancy. A lot of times, if you're going to expect women to be going out and getting resources in today's society while she's pregnant, that is very difficult. That can be detrimental. Pregnancy is risky for a woman. It can actually lead to death for a woman, especially if she's pregnant with a boy child. So her body, that's one thing that can happen. The next thing
I don't think that anybody takes any of those things away from women. I think that everybody is aware. They have, GYN doctors, and they have the +4 trauma centers to be able to, convert C-sections, from vaginal births to maintain the health of women. And women still are having issues as far as childbirth and mortality rates. I don't understand why women repeatedly say that those aren't things that people care about or value. There's clearly been things done in the healthcare system to attempt to accommodate the delicate nature of pregnant women. You know what I'm saying? One thing that there hasn't one thing that there hasn't been accommodation for the most part at all are the hazardous conditions that many men are literally just expected to go through just walking through life. You know what I'm saying?
Such as what? Sorry. Such as?
Just male to male aggression, for one, going to work, and hazardous conditions at jobs like factories, at jobs like construction sites. And the thing is
police.
The police. Yeah, the thing is that when it comes to me explaining this isn't me saying that men have it worse or less. When it comes to women explaining these kind of things, it's always women saying that the issues and the things that you all are sensitive to give you all a higher human value than men. You all use baseline misandry to justify your value, and we make comparisons and say, well, we go through things too. And I think that that's where a lot of the disconnect comes from. I don't discount anything that a woman goes through as something that shouldn't be taken serious. Women look at a male life as if it's not a serious thing. Baseline.
Is it okay if I actually go through my point without being cut off? Please, just because you see I'm respectful on the panel, I'm here. I allow you to speak when you have something to say. I just don't.
Hold on. First of all, it's my panel. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm allowing everybody up here to speak, and the reason why I figure that you're pretty smart. You know what I'm saying? You can hold your place, and I don't think that anybody up here said that anything going on with women was less valuable than what was going on with men. And you were the one that placed a value on women and said that women have more to lose than men. None of us ever said that about women.
I agree. Women have more to lose than men when they enter in unions. And as I was explaining, the reason why I say that is because pregnancy, that's one. It puts women in a very vulnerable position.
Wait, hold on. This is why, and I want to say, excuse me. I don't want to be rude, but I want to get this stuff line by line, because a lot of times people tend to try to railroad this kind of stuff, and it's like, oh, we got to stop right here. A woman doesn't automatically get pregnant in a union. Sometimes women don't even have a union and they get pregnant. So pregnancy and unions are not mutually exclusive. A union doesn't necessarily automatically come with a pregnancy. If you are married, once the ring is put on your finger, the ring doesn't impregnate you. Just like if you're not in a union, you still can get pregnant. So for you to associate pregnancy with a union, I think that's not necessarily accurate, because a union is not under any circumstances indicative of a pregnancy. A pregnancy is based on the decisions that are made within the union, the decision to get pregnant or not to get pregnant, because there's many marriages that go from marriage date to the marriage termination or the death of the spouse or the husband or the wife, and there's never a pregnancy. So then how does that go into the risk assessment?
I have a question, just a clarifying question. Are you referring to sperm banks when you say no union?
No, I'm referring to couples, males and females, that get married that choose to not have children, and then also women and men who have children out of wedlock. The child is not indicative of the union. The child is indicative of either the choice to have a child by the male and the female, or by not utilizing proper precautions and people's reckless behavior in having a child. So
okay, I see what you're saying. I think right now what's happening is that we have two different definitions of what a union is. So what I was referring to when I said union, I mean a pair, like to be with someone intimately. I just didn't want to say it out because, anyhow, but that's what I mean, like to be
So you're basically saying sex.
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
but even still, that sex isn't indicative or a guarantee of a pregnancy. Sex can increase the likelihood of somebody getting pregnant, but it's not a guarantee.
Right. So that likelihood is a risk factor that will affect the woman much more negatively than, say, the men. They can always walk away, but she's stuck with this thing for 9 months at least. And then the birthing process, and then she's stuck raising this thing.
So if it's her body, her choice, right? Like, say for instance, I have a fractured ankle and I know that playing basketball is gonna increase the likelihood of that fracture changing to a break. Should I play basketball or should I maybe sit that one out? If I'm a diabetic, I know that I can go into either hypoglycemia or hyperglycemia. Should I really eat that next candy bar? Now, because I'm a diabetic, that candy bar has a higher potential of causing me issues. Now, I don't look at women as, being more or less or anything. I look at women, for the most part as equal, right? But I think that there's a way that a woman should move as far as the understanding of her body and those risk factors that do come along with pregnancy. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I still don't think that the union creates. I think that a woman has more vulnerability as a result of the ability to be able to get pregnant, but at the same time a woman has the ability to not get pregnant by limiting access to herself based on her better judgment and decision making, right? Like
Right. Yes, and that goes back to where the point where I was making originally when I went to that, where you were asking about if single moms or single women, if them approaching society the way how they do and men in the way how they do, what that had to do with survival. That was the question, right? Or was it something else?
What I said is that a lot of times when it comes to the single family thing, a lot of that burden is put on Black women, like what we see in the media and what we see people talking about. So what I'm saying is that when it comes to the modern woman, like what you're looking at with Ehoni K and her aggression, as far as her type A personality, her being an alpha, her, looking for resources and assets, I think that that's an evolution or an extension of the single mother phenomenon, now moving into the female CEO phenomenon of not only do I control the household, now I'm going to evolve that and I'm going to control businesses. I'm going to control enterprises. I think it's an evolution. I don't think it's anything bad. I don't think it's anything bad. I don't think it's anything good. I think it's a symptom of society.
Yes, that's it. The symptom of society, and also because of the role that patriarchy had over women for so long, it's us as women recognizing that now we have the opportunity to not put ourselves in certain vulnerable situations, so we have to take control of where we're gonna be headed in our lives.
So, but which patriarchy are you saying did that?
That is the white patriarchy. Like I was saying before, because the other societies didn't have that restriction on women like the white patriarchy. In African societies, it was more respectful, like they understood the gender roles. And in indigenous societies, it was the same, where women had their roles and men had their roles.
So that's interesting, because so now here's a question for you. I think that's good. So let me ask you a question. Do you consider yourself a woman like Ehoni K?
I think we have similar personality types. In terms of standing our ground or being logical when we come to certain conclusions.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're similar.
So my question is, does a woman like Ehoni K, or does a woman like you, what does a societal balance look like from your view? Because to me, like what we're seeing as far as the single mother epidemic, and then if we can both agree that the single mother epidemic has evolved into this modern womanhood thing, do you see society, especially with Black people, ever finding an equilibrium? Because if you ask me, what we're looking at here is not an equilibrium. It's like we said before, it's a societal symptom. And again, I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's how things are playing out. But from your worldview, being that you're somebody that can kind of see things the way that she sees things, is there a societal equilibrium in the future, or how does this look like? What would be the next step after this?
So this is the answer to this question is very complex. So the first thing I wanted to say is that the modern woman is not just a single mother.
Right. I agree.
Right.
I want to get that out. I don't want you to think that I was implying that. If you thought I was implying that, I wasn't. What I'm saying is I think it's a evolution from you like, how like they say,
yes,
like,
I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Okay.
Yes, I see what you mean. Okay, just to sum it up, just so I can you can verify if I understand what you're saying. Basically, from women having to struggle and take care of children without the help of the fathers and without the father being present in the home and having that burden, it's been passed down from one generation to the next that it's better for you to stand on your 2 feet, guard your womb, and look out for yourself instead of to pair up with someone, because it's too hard to having to be the woman and trying to play the role of the man, because it's impossible for a woman to be a man in that sense in a household. So you have to do that to make sure that you can become better than this environment that you're in. Is that what you mean?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Go ahead, CP.
Are you looking to are you in a relationship, or are you looking to be in a relationship?
That's a strange question.
No, because I wanted to kind of like, your patriarchy thing. And I wasn't trying to get personal, but we're talking about the Ebony K, and it kind of correlates with your argument with patriarchy. The reason why I asked that question is because how does a woman as yourself look at a relationship with gender roles by destroying the patriarchy, but having also gender roles? Like, what does the gender role look like in a relationship for you? Like, is it, like what would be my role as a man, and what would be the role as a woman to you?
That's also complex because every relationship is different. I strongly believe that.
Okay. How about this?
With relationships, before two people come together, they need to know who they are. They need to have had all their messes and their baggages sorted out. So they need to come to the table pretty much clean, with a mindset where they can actually work together towards certain goals and accomplishments in that relationship. So I think relationships are supposed to have reasons for them having them. It's not just supposed to be, because you feel a certain way, then you're with someone. So there need to be a reason why you're with that person. And everybody needs to have their own goals and their own aspirations in that, while even though they're partnered with someone. When it comes to raising a family, I think that it's important for the woman to be available to take care of the children. As far as household chores go, anything else that can be outsourced, I think those things, because they can be outsourced, they can be done by anyone. So therefore, they could be opportunities for other people to get some jobs in your house or whatever. But in terms of the relationship, if you are child-free, whatever it is that floats your boat in that moment, when you decide that you're going to have children, I think it's better if the woman is available to be there for the child, and the resources need to be there to take care of the household. So it's important for women when they're getting married that they marry somebody who is at least their equal, who has the mindset that's similar to, say, theirs, that they can actually work together towards a common familial goal and building legacy.
So wouldn't that set up a personal go ahead, CP.
One more question and last question. The person that makes the most money, do they make the decisions, in your opinion?
In a marriage?
Yep.
No, I think it's both people need to make decisions together. It's not about who makes the most money. Because here's why. Like,
I don't think the architect is like a hardcore modern woman. I think architect is like a moderate modern woman. Like, I think she still kind of is all for the reciprocity, and I think that architect is probably a little bit more on the negotiable side, more so than Ehoni K, from what I'm hearing from you, because you sound like you'll meet somebody in the middle as far as on a relationship standpoint. You don't sound like you would try to be like overbearing. You know what I mean? Like, am I right about that, or not so much?
I would, here's the thing. There's a certain type of man who I get along with, and there are certain types of men who I would not have in my space because I would crush them like a bug.
Dre said, "Nah, you hardcore." And see, you might have
so,
just confirmed.
So it depends. Like it does depend. Like I said in the comments, I've been proposed to 6 times. I have no problem saying no to people.
So now, so let me ask you this. I want to go back to the baby part. As far as, okay, so now you said that you feel the woman should be available to take care of the child.
Yes, absolutely.
So now here's my question, right? If one of the tenets of a modern woman is based on income, resources, and economics, as well as independence, and this is a woman that has been independent and generating her own resources her entire life, will that woman be willing to relinquish the influence and power that she would have in a relationship of bringing those things to the table to be able to raise the child? How would you feel about that?
Here's another caveat, because I do strongly believe that when a man decides that he's going to propose to and marry a woman, he needs to at least be in a position where he can give her an allowance that replaces what she earns.
You want some severance pay?
He needs to, yeah, because like, how is she gonna survive if she doesn't have resources? So she's gonna be giving up all of that and putting herself. Like I said, women have a lot to lose in that position. And then the thing is, children takes a lot of energy to raise children. It takes a lot of thinking it takes a lot to
so
raise
how does that arrangement look? Upon is there, so you get a lawyer, because Ehoni K is a lawyer, she could draft this up for you. Upon the condition of my pregnancy, I need to be compensated in the amount of $15,000 to $20,000 every 2 weeks for postpartum insurance. And I'm just clearly being sarcastic, but how does that arrangement look like when you sit down with your husband and you lay out these things before a child is born? How do you present that?
Okay, so this is where I'm a strong proponent of marriage counseling before getting married. So
I think that's a good idea.
So these kind of
did your 6 proposals did y'all go through marriage counseling?
Absolutely.
Your 6 proposals?
I went to 3 marriage counseling with 3 different men. I did. And I've been married to this one for about 15 years.
Oh, you're married now.
Married. Congratulations. That's good.
No,
you're married
now. Yeah, I am a married woman. That's what I'm saying.
Good.
Like, it's just
about. Oh, we didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
No, that's good. That's good. That's the idea. That's what you wanted, right? To be married. So
no. I didn't want to be married. He's the one who wanted me. So if he wants me,
right, but that means you have to want him as well, right? Both of you guys need to.
Yeah, of course. He's awesome. Okay. My husband is amazing, right? And because he's amazing, He checked every single box that I had, including having more than 1 degrees, because that was one of my checklists. I do respect him. So whatever he says, I believe him. I respect him because I mean, like he's shown me that he's an amazing person. So it's like it's no big deal. Like as long as the person qualifies for the woman, then
Now I want
it
to know about
shouldn't be
the
a
allowance.
big deal when it comes to
I want to know about the allowance. Does he itemize the check stubs for you, or how's that work?
No, that's weekly.
I know. Does he itemize it? Like, do you get like a check stub where it says net income, state tax, local tax, school district, Medicare, Medicaid? How does that work? So it's like a stipend.
I don't know if we could say that it's an allowance. It's thousands. That's
Hold on. I thought you were an architect. I thought you were an architect that made your own money.
Am. Absolutely.
So you make your own money, and he gives you money.
Yeah, because I had to take time out of my profession to have kids. I do. Yeah, I do, and raise them.
No, I'm saying, you mean you're talking about when you were pregnant, not right now.
Well, yeah, I have children. I have to do stuff like make time for school. I can't be like. So I do take a hit in terms of my profession. So I think it's just fair for the man to compensate for that. And if he's not in a position where he can do that, I think maybe he needs to look for a different woman.
Well, I'm a little confused because, to me, if you are a mother, right, and you have a profession and you have a husband, wouldn't it be the most important thing would be for happiness would be your kids and your family and your husband instead of your job?
Do you know what love language are? Like, have you ever heard of love languages?
I do. I was married for 8 years. I think it's a farce.
Okay.
But go ahead.
So you know how everybody has their different love languages.
Mm-hmm.
Children are a lot of work, and I don't think that's what people shouldn't be looking at other people for their happiness. I was very happy before I got married. I'm still happy. That's because inside of myself, I was happy before. So I'm not going to look to my husband for happiness. But from a logical standpoint, I just think it's fair to compensate for somebody. It's almost like this, right? I'm going to bring up something totally different, but it's like the reparations conversation.
Oh, don't go there.
Like
don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Okay.
Don't do it.
I'll take it off the table.
Don't do it.
But it's like compensating.
Take it off the table. I know you came with
okay,
that.
I'll take it off.
That's what you brought to the table. We appreciate it, but that's okay. You can keep that one.
All right, I'll take it off. But you're compensating someone because of how your goals that you agreed upon will, like affect the person. So for example, I'm going to be doing a lot of things that my husband loves that I would do. Like I cook sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes I cook.
Wait a minute. So DJ Elmo wants oh my God, man. Anyway.
Like I said, look here.
You're crazy. We're going to ignore that question.
Marriage. Cooking does not keep a marriage together. Being available to your spouse keeps a marriage together. And if that means that you have to outsource chores, then you outsource chores so you're available to your spouse.
See, now look, you have it down to a damn business model.
It is a business. Marriage is a business, and you have to treat it like such. And
so let me. And I agree. And I actually had this conversation with one of my coworkers last night, and I'm glad. And please don't think that I'm being rude. I just you started something. I want to ask you this before it slips my mind. What is your end business plan? What is your mission and your vision for your, as you say, for your union? What is the mission and the vision for it?
Well, I'm not going to say it's mine because it's our union, so it's ours.
Right.
And it is so that our children can be self-sufficient and that the legacy that we build can be passed down through generations and allow for other people who look like us to have opportunities for employment. And that's pretty much how we've been building ourselves.
Okay.
And also our children. For our children, it's to have the maximum amount of opportunities. So our children do engage in many different activities.
That's what's up. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because I remember when you were. Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you one thing that you should do right now. You should start making content for women about how to talk your man into a weekly stipend. And people, you would get 100,000 likes on that shit every week.
No, you're joking.
Shit.
Well, there's a lot of people that'll listen to that.
Yeah, man, you'll be able to quit your job.
Okay.
You won't ever have to worry about the patriarchy again unless they get a male CEO at YouTube.
What's interesting is I do love what I do, and that's the reason why I do it. But that's interesting. I don't know if I would want to be grifting like that or just telling people. I don't know.
You grifting your man.
No, it's an obligation. It's an obligation. It's an agreement. Like it's like a contract, like if we agreed upon something, we agree.
You see that shit?
Well, I'm gonna say this.
Look, you already got one subscriber. My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead. Jay. You already got one subscriber. You already got fans. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, bro.
I will try to bring it back to what we were talking about. Like you said, you want to give your kids the best opportunity, and you say you start your own company. And what we're talking about is pretty much, having ownership. That way we can give these our people a better opportunity. And I think by you having your own company, you could be able to give not only your children, but say if you have the extra resources to hire more people. I think that's actually a good thing. Another thing I think is a good thing is when we talk about marriage, a lot of women, and I'm talking about they could be in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, 50s, they don't know how to cook. All they know is fast food. So I think that's an additional benefit that I would actually look forward to. Cleaning is I'm a neat freak. Stuff has to be clean around me. I don't know what's up with about you guys, but I'm a neat freak. I'm about cooking at home and all that stuff. So I would agree with those sentiments when it comes to looking for a wife. Now, if you have a wife who thinks that being an IG model and just posting online all day is work, that's somebody I wouldn't want to get into a relationship with.
Facts.
I think a lot of the women who do that are doing it to survive because men lust after the female bodies and they need to eat, so they capitalize on that.
They could be lazy too. No, but what I was gonna say is I agree. I actually agree with you on the allowance thing. I was gonna marry someone 2 years ago, but it didn't work out. But she would like if you were working at Walmart and you weren't making that much money, I believe, and you loved Walmart, I believe an allowance would have been nice. But you make some good money at being an architect. Like, I don't understand giving you allowance when you have money already that should be coming towards us.
Well, my money goes towards the children.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but then the children they're going to go to school, education, whatever they need. Like I do a lot of investment, especially in my children's names. So I don't want my husband looking at my money. Don't look at my money. It's our kids' money.
Hold on. What'd you say? You said you said you don't want your.
No, don't look at it. It's our kids' money.
Yeah, I always disagree with having a joint bank account. I think joint bank accounts are they leave either one or the other person vulnerable. Say if you make 70,000 and the other person makes 30,000, I think a joint bank account will be unfavorable to the person that makes the most money.
No. I don't believe in joint bank accounts either. But my thing is that if she's making good money, I do not see the reason to give her allowance. If she was working at Walmart, yes. And he was the breadwinner, yes. But she's making great money.
I have a question for you, CP.
No problem, honey.
So say if would you rather the money, say if say you're in my position or in my situation, would you rather if your wife's money go towards bills and expenses, or would you prefer if it goes to investments for your children's future?
The kids, definitely.
So that's pretty much what I do.
Okay, all right.
What I do, I do a lot more like in that area for the kids.
Okay,
So
that's fair.
I have set up several different types of investments. One of them where if the children decides that they don't want to go to college or university, they have that money available to them to start a business or buy a house or whatever they want to do.
So you have like a trust fund.
Yeah, like there's that, but then there's also like
annuities,
the other one with
perpetuities,
it has
different things like that.
interest.
You know,
yeah, builds interest and everything else like that.
You know,
And it's
honestly, I
available to
think what she's doing is sort of like what Indian Americans do. Like the Indian Americans I used to work with, they used to work 2 jobs, and it was all for the benefit of the family. Like the kids, they had a house, they had, you know, whatever they wanted as soon as they were of age. So I mean, look, I'm not gonna knock you for providing for your children. Okay, I think that as a parent, that's what we all want to make our children's lives better than what we have.
Yeah,
that's why I don't got no kids.
Yeah.
No, I agree. That should be the goal, is to set the next generation up better than you had it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Harrison over on Twitch. What's good with it, bro?
At least that needs to be a goal right now, man. Because you know, shit. The previous goal wasn't working for Black America. That old symbolism, you see where that's got us, man. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I'm still just tripping that she done talk this man into writing her a paycheck. It's just hilarious. But I think the way that she said it is kind of a little bit more crude than what's actually going on. I think what's going on is that she's basically in charge of the kids' financial future, is what it is.
Yeah, but he also had stuff set up for them too.
Oh, so you get a separate paycheck. So you got multiple checks.
Yeah. So that's what I decided to do out of my goodness of my heart, because I want to see my children in certain positions later. But
I think the goodness of your heart, I think you should buy him like a car or like a Rolex or something like that out of your goodness of your heart.
Who is that? Her man? She should buy it for her?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Nope.
Oh,
she ain't buying that man nothing. She ain't buying that man nothing. You know what I'm saying? She ain't giving her brother a break. She'll buy him a new checkbook and a new pen to sign them checks.
Well, I am available to him whenever he wants me, so that's important.
Yeah, that's important. That's facts. That's facts. Because a lot of times that's not there. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely important. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I think that's more important than a truck or a Rolex.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, how do you deal as far as in like emotional support?
I listen. Shut up. I listen and I shut up.
How much you actually shut up? Because now that can be priceless now. You know
I do, because I respect him. So I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna shut up.
So now,
so let me get.
Oh, go ahead.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I got. Hold on. So you get his allowance. You say you rarely cook, and you shut up when he needs advice.
If I don't want to cook, I'm not going to cook.
Gotcha.
But I can cook. Here's the deal. I've started writing cookbooks. I can cook.
Oh, nice.
You selling the cookbooks?
Gonna be how about to ask that question?
I think I should publish them too.
Yeah, publish that stuff, man. You can publish online for free. Oh yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, I'm trying to paint a picture of, like, you know, from what you're gathering, like, how do not, you know what, I'm not even gonna say it because I don't want to get, all right, hell with it. Yeah, it just feel. I'm trying to see where like you said in the beginning. You said that the women have the most risks. But
Yes.
it seems like he has the most risks because
No.
you could leave him today, take the kids. He still owes you an allowance, right? And he
Mm.
cannot start all over.
I'm not gonna take the kids if we break up. You can have the kids.
Okay.
I would rather my freedom than the kids. If we break up, you can have them.
I think you rather your freedom right now.
No.
Because here's my thing.
freedom.
Here's
It's cool.
my thing. In a relationship, both have mutual sacrifices, and I have yet to heard your sacrifice to him.
I already told you my sacrifice.
What
She
was
has
that?
she has the kids. She has to take care of the kids. She has to invest in her
Yeah.
time. She has
Yeah,
to cook, clean.
sometimes, yeah, and I have to get somebody to come in and clean when I don't want to.
Well, she also has a full-time job as an architect.
Yeah, that'll be yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody is suffering.
Yeah.
If it's not the kids, it's
Well,
not you, then it has to be him.
no, he's not suffering.
You
Now,
have
see,
24 hours.
but
You have
now
24 hours in the day.
but check
You
this
got
out,
20
CP.
But here's the
Okay.
deal.
Check this out, CP.
Like I said, my in my profession earlier, actually, I did a lot of more working. I worked a lot more. Now I'm at the point where I own businesses, right?
Okay,
And so
nice.
I do a lot more like in my businesses. But
So you do more like
I
HR. Oh, I was gonna say you do more like HR or not HR, like overhead type of work now instead of the actual the processes and stuff like that.
I do that too. I mean, I'm a supplier.
Okay.
I'm a supplier for material like for solar.
Man, y'all wild.
So
Okay. So it's easier for you now though, since you're like been in there for a while.
it's flexible. I mean, with
Okay.
my profession was very flexible as well. But the thing is, because I had my number one priority were my kids because they can't look after themselves. So I would sometimes decline certain projects
Okay.
because
Yeah.
right. So that's where I'm sacrificing my career that I love to do with doing stuff that I love to do. So
Okay. Yeah. Well,
I do make a
yeah.
lot of
That makes
sacrifice.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and when my husband needs me, I will take time off work just to be there.
We're gonna have to interview you and your husband if you guys are down for it. Because I want to hear this interview and I want to hear his perspectives as well as yours if you let him talk.
Like I said, I will listen and shut up. Like I respect him very much.
I want to see it all. I want to see all of it. And and he gonna need to show us one of them checks with the stubs. You can blank the name out and the account number and all that, but just so we got some hardcore. so we got some hardcore evidence. You know what I'm saying? But y'all, it's been 3 hours, and I wanted to actually get through this Ehoni K video, but I don't think we're gonna have time. But it was actually good though because I think we had a good dialogue. And I'm gonna check and see. I'm gonna see what's up with Grind and see if maybe we could do this again at another date, and we could get this conversation sparked back up. And CP and Architect and Jay, you already know, you guys are all welcome to call back in because I think that would be great. But we got to put a rule on Architect. You got to bring your husband. we got to bring your husband, and we got to have your husband explain this too. You know what I'm saying? We want to see you guys as couple dynamics.
Right.
I'll see if I can convince him of it. I'll try.
Great conversation. Great conversation, though.
Give him a 10% discount on the allowance. You know what I'm saying? And he might
no.
he might go for
Man,
it.
this is what Ehoni K wanted. This is what Ehoni K wanted. is a feminist dream right now.
Look, man, Ehoni K will be proud. Yeah, she like Darth Vader and Ehoni K is the Emperor. You know what I'm saying? Emperor Palpatine. All right, y'all. Well, I'm about to end it right here. Like I said, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. It was a great conversation. We're gonna try to, hopefully we can do this again with the exact same, where we started off with the same conversation, so we can get right back into it and at that same place in the video. I'm gonna check with Grind and see what we can do it next, and then we'll get into it, and hopefully Architect could be available and we could all chop it up again. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. I will
Yes,
catch y'all
sir.
later. Peace.
Peace.
Peace out.